My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. See thepatternofconduct.wordpress.com.
"12:37 a.m. This is the Ontario Police Department stalking in helicopter at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. Doing so in what is directed light. This is criminal monitoring. This is ongoing terrorism that the Ontario Police Department remains engaged in. Ongoing group stalking in concert with the people of the state. This is also demonic while the Ontario Police Department is flying in circles. This is their ongoing routine of stalking. This is amplified audible activity, by the way. This is literally demonic activity. What you're hearing, and also the very conduct that they're engaging in using a helicopter. This is Satan that has access right now to helicopters. But the Ontario Police Department are done with law enforcement and they're going to federal prison. You're disbanding them. They're going to sit in federal prison and think about me. That's how obsessed they are. They will be sitting in federal prison in cells, and they can think about me all day and night because I'll be the one putting them there. And this is the evidence that they keep providing me with. That's going to result in that. It's also evidence against the people of the state with whom they are group stalking. It is currently 12:38 a.m. This is P.O.C. That's the Ontario Police Department. City of Ontario, they're monitored. That's the dumpster truck you hear, 1514628. And I took a picture of that. They're right and behind me on Euclid Avenue, group stalking, studying their communication devices while they're stalking in a dumpster truck. That's literally what demons do out here in California. It is, by the way, Friday, June 10, 2022. It's currently 7:30 a.m. 7Z25159. And Omnitrans is present, bus number 1220 at Euclid and Hope Boulevard, 8UDM 376. And the fake sun is over me as I also caption still images. SoCal Edison is crossing path, 8KGM 593. 6RCX 054. This is Empire Tree Service. Can't see their license plate. Hold on 1 second. This third party is 7CTW 066. Empire Tree Service is 86308B3. License 8ZSK 420. 8MOF 471, 4POP 188, 8WZN 734, 8VRL 731, 8LDF 347, 8AJJ 775. These are minions that are crossing path and directed light at 7:32 a.m. License 8LTZ 280, 8KGS 917, 8ZCR 076, 8VUB 459, 7FDA 448, 7VFK 384, 8NXF 567. This is ongoing obsessive stalking. This is under a fake and indirected light. These are minions pacing. Obsessive stalking. They're engaged in the ongoing bidding of Satan while they are surrounded with evidence and know they're being documented. This is relevant to the prosecution of the whole entity. Amazon Prime molesting, license plate PB 53451, reaching horizontally across a sidewalk while a truck is driving by. That's demonic, and that's terrorism, and that's impunity. Same entity engaging in what is assault and battery includes Amazon Prime molesting my person. Under the fake sun, it's 7:33 a.m. It is 7:35 a.m. I did board Omnitrans Route 83. This is bus 1220. And headed northbound on Euclid Avenue. And this is P.O.C. And that was a 86162 Z1, 8 NSC 643. That was Amazon Prime engaging what is molestation. And so, for example, I've shown this so many times. The directed light, for example, that you see on the bus while I'm capturing video en route to the same bus stop that where I just boarded this bus. Actually, no, that was beyond that bus stop. But the entity's directed light. This is demonic. This is appearing in motion on the top of the bus. It's very, very terrifying is the image of that. It's demonic light. I've shown you this inside of venues. I've shown you this on side of this bus. This is what Amazon Prime is engaging in, and it's identified as Amazon Prime because that's the logo on the vehicle. This is what an ordinary target individual is looking at, is observing, is subject to, while nothing other than what our cars and trucks are in the street driving. You have the inexplicable conduct. This is terrorism. This is infliction of harm. This is intended to not only violate, but to strike fear and harass and intimidate. There are a bunch of demons doing that, and it's not limited to some company name. And so that is the means whereby you are also going to document a state that's placing you under surveillance through satanic methods, and also molesting your person, touching your person, okay? And this is what employee 3072 is engaging in, and on Omnitrans, which is heavily documented, practicing the satanic conduct with directed light while they're monitoring. It is currently 7:37 a.m., and so that's what's occurring while I'm walking toward this bus and getting on. And Amazon Prime is the vehicle that's crossing path, and light, like laser light, is shooting horizontally, moving across the sidewalk and touching all over my person while they're driving by. All right, it's the act of targeting. It's the act of the demon-possessed engaging group stalking. They're doing so also in that environment. The fake sun is over me, which is the case on an ongoing basis. And I did capture an image of what is that Amazon Prime vehicle, and I recited that license plate. That is the correct license plate on the back. This is an entity that is using commercial vehicles, using commercial airline planes, all right, using the people of the state, wherever it is that they're located, to engage in the system. It is 7:37 a.m. and this is P.O.C. This is Omnitrans employee 3072. As he states, this is the correct employee number. That's what's being displayed, and engaged in ongoing molestation while demons are getting on and off the bus. This is the elements of crossing path, which is relevant positioning. There are demons that are pacing on the bus while they're monitoring still. The entity engaging in that ongoing sexual violence and terrorism, and engaging in physical harm, engaging in harassment as they did at the Chino Branch Library, while you're documenting their absurdly demonic and criminal system. All right, it is 7:38 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 25371G2 is a sex offender as well, stalking. License 7ZZF592. They're stalking under the fake sun. I'm at 5th Street and Euclid Avenue at 7:39 a.m. Student Transportation of America crossing path at 5th Street. License BRIXBOS, I believe. 8 or BVRL 701, I believe. Five 9966N1 29843F2 8VOR 413 6WHH092 BOLLER 7H60324 8KVK178 7XDH057, I believe, 7KKL619 7KRK196 8FQW865 5JLR128 8UVU958 6WHH092 8FQW865 molesting. And they're just, that demon is just doing the same thing that all the rest of them are doing. And that's exactly what I was describing, which was underway, which I captured on video yesterday evening. And this is that ongoing continuation of that conduct, speaking to ongoing obsessive stalking and monitoring and terrorism by demons, 5JLR128 included. So this is one demon after another. I read all those license plates, crossing path, getting onto the 10 freeway up here at the 7th Street, 7KRK196, directed light across the bus. Employee 3072 is going to be prosecuted, 7KKL619. He's monitoring with these demons, 7XDH057, 9BCW056, and they're getting right onto the 10 freeway. License 8KVK178. Every single last one, directed light reaching upwards onto the bus. 7XRL554. These are demons. License 8RZF873. 7KJK496. 6LWR063. 7GTX370. YP55686, I believe. 61769G2. 5RBF097. 8RVS877. License 8XEZ338, 9AGH178, 7LKK154, and these demons that are sitting on the bus are monitoring as well. UDW 620, 8EZP 138, 8RNL 688, XP 97667, 67363X2. It's 7:42 a.m. This is the fake sign over me in Upland, California, and this is where the minion usually opens the door at the train tracks. He doesn't. Also aware of the fact that I'm capturing video of what is a molestation while impossible light sweeps back here toward me across my breast and back while they're opening and closing a door. That's impossible light. It's impossible that it's all impossible light. It's directed light, but I just want to be clear. He knows he's being documented. This is employee 3072. He's monitoring and terrorizing with the license plate that I'm reading. This is P.O.C. There you go. That's P.O.C. It's 7:43 a.m. He's walking in directed light. There you go. That's directed light as well. Excuse me, mind opening the door so I can get off? There you go. Oops. There you go. That's P.O.C. And that's directed light outside as well. That's the pattern of conduct. Those are all demons monitoring together. License plate 1234513, bus 1220. That's impunity of that company, heavily documented, engaging in that terrorism, and what is sexual violence. That's how the people of the state, that company is going to be prosecuted. An employee representing himself as employee 3072. It is 7:44 a.m. and this is the fake sign over 7-Eleven in Upland. That's a demon stalking in the path with light. 7F35132. The entity is keeping the fake sign. If you recall, you're talking about over 12 hours. That would be 13 hours from now, where the entity keeps the fake sign in alignment, as I've captured standing on that property, and the light source is seen underneath the same gas stall covering. That's an impossible occurrence. These are all demons monitoring. They're all sex offenders as well. They're a part of that same molestation. They're demons monitoring together on behalf of the state. I want you to see the environment, though. The entity keeping the fake sign over me at that bus stop where I did not come anywhere near her yesterday. This is the P.O.C. Alrighty, capturing impunity of the people of the state acting via omnitrans. Violent sexual molestation is what employee 3072 is engaged in. 56598K2. Upland Unified School District, license 1033745, engaged in that molestation as well. 8VVA649, 7ZZF592. And this is the demon that's monitoring documentation. So while they refrain from opening the door at the crossroads, which is repeating a molestation while they do so, then they engage in repeating that molestation. This is impossible light activity. This is the work of Satan. It has nothing to do with the door opening and closing. And so you have, while Satan listens to me document the fact that they refrain from opening that door, which is where directed light is molesting my breasts while I'm sitting on a bus and you're opening and closing a door, impossible. You have the entity that is omnitrans, that is employee 3072, that they are the people of the state that engage physical violence while you document them, all right? Harassment as you document them. 83937G2, 78993Y2. This video is what I'm capturing under the fake sign in Upland at the 7-Eleven at 204 North Euclid Avenue. This is where that entity is engaging in Let me get this license. CB 40R58, group stalking at the gas stall and directed light. And so is this Arkansas plate 637XCD. They're on surveillance cameras. This is P.O.C. And while they drive off, directed light. They're engaged in criminal surveillance in plain sight. They're part of that same sex offense, group stalking at 7-Eleven, with employee 3072. This is Nevada, MT, and then 6810. Looks like colorful paper, but that's the license plate on the vehicle. It's 7:46 a.m. But nonetheless, you have this employee that drives the bus and then touching with directed light while they open and close that door of that bus while I'm documenting the impossibility of that light, that ongoing pattern of touching me with some iteration of light, directed light, which is pursuant to an ongoing endeavor to monitor. It's also demonic. Okay, you're going to prosecute as what is the perpetual sex offender. It's 7:46 a.m. and I captured this at the 7-Eleven where 13 hours from now the entity is documented keeping a light source that is necessarily the fake sun, not the sun that will be on the opposite side of the same street, aiming light into the 7-Eleven, molesting me, again, just like you see on Omnitrends, molesting while they're opening, they being demons, open and close the door of the 7-Eleven. All right, this is all documented already. So while I'm here early in the morning, you remember what's already documented at this same exact venue? Hello. And that's the P.O.C. that's capturing the demonic. 8DHW290508001G3. These are third parties at the that are still in a relevant position at 7-Eleven in Upland, California, where I completed a purchase right now. 7BNE628, stalking with light at the air pump area in the parking lot under the fake sun. Let me get these. 8HGX056. They are monitoring. And license, operation communication device, fake sun, directed light. 637XCD just relocated to another position where he's maintaining surveillance. Group stalking. Let me get this over here. A lower image in relevant position as a facilitating venue. License BN62P87 paper. And it's 7:50 a.m. (8ZKH 390) and Omni Ride 8ZDL 425. (7BNE 628) is pacing around the parking lot. You have another demon maintaining presence at the corner of the intersection where a lower image is on the opposite side of the sidewalk. In operation of their communication device, they're maintaining presence. The fake sun remains over me, and these demons, while they move around, they're creating activity. They're doing so in engineered light. License 7FPR196 6HXE934 5PWZ 767 6MNH963 5SCS 881 ILENGUR 7HGT 178 7CFK 177 8RFM 631 8FWR 130 6WQR 588 7BNE 628 is now crossing path again. Directed light while they're driving on Holt. Euclid. And 89373G2 the same. They're engaged in surveillance, criminal surveillance. This is what demons are doing sitting inside of a library where directed light is present. All right, this is what they're doing outside while fake sun remains over me. Directed light while they move about under that fake sun. And this is the same while I'm on a means of public transportation, which is Omnitrends. Arriving right now. 8UDS274, 7LKC, 7LCK 724, I believe. 7UTW 738, 8V45532, 6ZZU 216, 8KBZ 261, AMG, and then a plus sign, CDG, 7ADS 177, 7EKT 058, 7YCF 666, 7GNU 811. This is an entity, a part of an ongoing molestation while they're stalking in an environment that is remaining over me, including while on the bus. This is the sex offense that the entity is engaging in, so I'm reading license plates while they are crossing path while I'm on the bus. License 8EWE400. 7HBY, I can't really see that one. 7JJX223, Student Transportation of America, a sex offender driving a school bus. All right, a demon-possessed one. 22486J2, 79505F3, 8GHC 754, 6P22079, 6LL5823. 7HCP 376, I believe. 6HQY 937. Seven POU 756, 7 BPW 361, 7M, I can't really see that one. 6 RVD 328. This is a molestation at 6th Street and Euclid Avenue. Eight DHH, 8D, excuse me, 8HDW 290. I think I read that one already. 7XCD 867. The ongoing occurrence of a molestation, which is directed light, is speaking to the ongoing criminal monitoring that you're subject to, indiscriminately, by the way. And 8TQV 468, Heart DEPCHE. In addition to that, you're also understanding what is entirely the molestation of a person, 72571F2, for a criminal purpose, where the light source is remaining over me at a bus stop where I remained yesterday, and I got on the Route 83 going southbound. But today when I get on the bus and I go to Upland, California, that's where the light source remains over me. This has nothing to do with the sun. These are demons, and this is their ongoing conduct, which is the environment that I've shown you. Demons engage in directed light conduct. They also engage in what is prosecuted as the perpetual sex offense. They are sex offenders that act with impunity. They are sex offenders that are obsessively stalking. They are sex offenders that are inherently violating the person while they are for always in every way molesting with directed light, even while directed light remains inside of a venue. The venue is the bus, and this is what these demons are doing. 7ZDD374. The fake sun is nowhere in the window of a bus where I remained at the bus stop yesterday. The bus stop where I got on today at Euclid and Holt. Second of all, I got on the bus going toward Chino. I did not come toward Upland. The entity keeps the fake sun over me. It's over the 7-Eleven at 744, and this is not formed for what is sunlight. Okay, it's impossible that would be the sun visible through the window, and it's also not sunlight while that fake sun is remaining in alignment with this bus. 3072 is a violent sex offender that acts with impunity. As I capture on video, as I've captured Omnitrans, the people of the state in general, repeatedly demonstrating, and that is speaking to that intense federal prosecution for that sex offense. I want to be clear, and this is the state of California that shall also be prosecuted as a sex offender. License 94439C3, 8XGG. I can't really see the rest of them. License 7UVT225, 6PJZ595, 6PLL217, 7WSC 782, 7BVZ613, 7WEF707, 9AGK689. So this has nothing to do with what is, obviously has nothing to do with the placement of the sun. I'm showing you the pattern of stalking with the fake sun. This has everything to do with what is Satan's personality, not only providing a nomenclature for this demented conduct, directed light, which is supposed to be something disbelieved when any person would allege it, all right? But that's not what we're dealing with here. Satan is cornered with regard to its demented conduct and its instruments, engineered light, and the environment, a fake sun. 35758F3, 8FNG642, 8PDF434, as the fake sun is remaining over me at 7:59 a.m. And directed light remaining on this bus, not just on the floors as though that's stationary sunlight, but also dynamic light while demons are pacing around. The entity is engaging in nothing other than that ongoing determination by a psychopath that's a violent sex offender, a violator of your physical person, touching you with this instrument of criminal conduct, including the Downtown Ontario Improvement Association. Right there, crossing path. So is Chaffee Joint Union High School, sex offender. XXR 578, 265ZD handicap, 4WXN 576, 7YOU 514.
Stop requested.
8UZS 850.
Please use earphones.
Si posible. Por favor, usar la puerta trasera.
7B89558. And it is 8:01 a.m. The fake sun is remaining over me. 6JLS. I can't really see the rest of one. 6HVR422, 5RDA248. Remaining over me while I'm arriving at the bus stop where I originally got on yesterday morning. And the fake sun remained at this intersection. Okay, this is speaking to the sexual violence that employee 3072 is engaging in with the people of the state, group stalking on the bus, crossing path, getting on the bus, sitting in directed light. The directed light you see moving across the top of the bus, these are demons getting on and off the bus. Hi, you saw me getting on though, right? Yeah, excuse me. They're crossing path, that's why they're getting in my way. These aren't just rude people, they're demons that are group stalking. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:01 a.m. Look directly at me and then gets in my way while I'm trying to get off the bus. And ordinarily, that's something that a bus driver would address. Wait a second, somebody's getting off. They're monitoring together. 7D94855, and they're also hostile demons. While they're listening to me document them. And I'm going to prosecute them as very violent sex offenders because that's what they are. That's exactly what they are. That's why I'm explaining. This is impunity. This is what they're doing. This is what they know. This is what they know that I'm documenting while they engage in that ongoing molestation. You're touching my breast with directed light. You wouldn't be able to touch my hands touch my breast with your hands or anything else that Satan wants to utilize. Violent sex offenders by the masses. 7MXV568. License 8ZRK982. 79860W2, 8NNX 586, 8SIZ840, 8AOK095, 8DSC399, 7TGY398, 5RFG894, 8CTZ647, 7UER254, 8JKD691, 4ZOM344, and this is at 8:02 a.m. where the fake sun is arriving as I'm on the bus and not remaining as I did yesterday at this bus stop, getting on this bus to go to Chino, California. That's the demon that is employee 3072, which he is stating is the correct employee number. Who this is not a mystery. I'm going to prosecute them. They're going to have nothing to do with what is the public. You're understanding how you're removing the demon possessed from positions like this to harm people in the public. They're threats to society. All right, violating the rights and the constitutional and human rights of American citizens while you're engaging in criminal conduct with the state that you also know is being documented in order to enforce your rights. That's speaking to just a level of 88TE686, 8JHH472, a level of sickness, all right? A total disregard of the rights of another. 6ADA104, 8KLS395, which is characteristic of the demon possessed, hence group stalking. 7VIK099, I read that license plate already. FLPNPRD, 8HMT279, 7LKF791, 7DCY749, 8101OV1, 6WYM984, 3072. This is the demon operating this bus. He's using it as a means of stalking with audible activity. As I move around, a demon coming out of the blue as though they're jogging. They're demon stalking in directed light under the fake sun. They're maintaining presence. Group stalking while I am at the bus stop. Where employee 3072 is stalking with light activity, loitering under the fake sun. Again, 1234513 bus 1220. That's a psychopath. 059163 04279B3. This is the very evidence where the people of the state will find themselves in mental institutions. This is the very evidence of it. 7ZOB346. all right? And you're talking about also you're monitoring with the police departments. That's gone to federal prison, all right? But I want to be clear, this is what you're understanding. What is the pattern of conduct by the demon-possessed entity placing you under surveillance? What is, again, as you would prosecute any other stalker engaging in the same sort of violations of a person, but you're talking about Satan that's doing it through ways in which you haven't even heard of, in ways the ordinary target individual would not be able to substantiate without evidence. So this is not the case, and you're going to prosecute. You're going to put them in mental wards. You're going to put them in federal prison, where any other criminal belongs. A very demented one that's a threat to society, moreover, based on their demon possession, which they are engaging in order to gang stalk you all together. That's Coca-Cola engaging in impunity. Coca-Cola's crossing paths, that amplified audible activity under the fake sun. All right, and Coca-Cola knows that it's being documented. License 47037N1, 41396G2. Student Transportation of America, 7JK, or I'll see that in a second. I can't really see it that clearly. Student Transportation of America is crossing path at 8:05 a.m. under the fake sun, which is not remaining in the window of the bus. That demon 3072 employee number drives often, 6TJG996. Contrary to what I showed when I'm on that bus, that fake sun remains in alignment with me. That's what I documented. Went to Chino, fake sun over me at 8:39 in the morning. Remember all that? Not today. It remains right here because that's where I'm at. 7YUT 106. 7JJX223 is the same license plate as the other Student Transportation of America bus that I document. That was at 7th Street and Euclid and Upland. 8WVA 096. 8JFG 875. 7SHJ 134. 3MJB 743. West Coast Arborist crossing path. 8NJB 034, 5244, 4L1, I believe. 8VYN 771, 8USV 708. And it is 8:06 a.m. where the fake sun is remaining here at the intersection. And I'll take pictures of that. I'm on the bus, and the entity is keeping the fake sun over me while I'm on Omnitrans yesterday, going to Chino. Okay. So obviously where I am at this location, this is not some location where the entity is under a sun that is both remaining stationary in alignment with me, but it's also seen by, for example, the rest of the demons who are in their vehicles and on Omnitrans, for example. B17154R, that's Texas, 8USV 708. And it's also appearing through the windows of all their vehicles while they're driving in every direction, including toward the city of Chino, and remaining stationary over, because that's what you're engaging in conduct, as though the sun is engaging in that. 8V BP264. It is not remaining stationary over me and at the same time engaging in real-time movement, which is necessarily the case while a vehicle is in movement, and you're keeping what is a perfect zenith in alignment through a window for the duration of the route of Omnitrans. That's what I document. That's what I continuously document. And this is not occurring at the same time. Both are not occurring at the same time. You're stalking with a light source, a fake sun, and that's why it's remaining at this intersection. All right, so 7EZZ318, 6ENV389. License 7WFL437. Route 87, Omnitrans, crossing path, and bring security, North Star 855. I can't even see the rest of the lights, but 8XEK313, 7LKP359. Bring security, crossing path with Omnitrans and Chaffee College Police. Where they're group stalking in Chino, California, where the fake sun's remaining over me, crossing path over that venue. That's a method of law enforcement group stalking. It's the same demon-possessed entity. License 8PPC973, 8XIT608. License, and it's 8:08 a.m. where Chaffee College Police crosses path. XP91720. 6STR265, 79405B2, 8BRU940, 6YYS198, 7JBU457, 8JFU464. I believe I read that one already. In case I didn't, there you go. These are demons that are pacing. 8WOH722. That's why the fake sun remains here. That's why I direct the light while they're moving their vehicle. All right, they're pacing around you. That's the significance of that. It has nothing to do with driving the car. It has everything to do with how you're understanding what is terrorism. All right, because the ordinary target individual that's subject to that, you're talking about what? You're driving your car and what's touching all over you? How is that even? That's terrorism. It's entirely demonic. Entirely demonic, very, very sick conduct that the people engage in. And this is what employee 3072 is engaging in while he's group stalking with the Ontario Police, the Upland Police, the Chino Police, Chaffee College Police, 7MHR225, 8YPP337, and also engaging in what is a sex offense with impunity. All right, not above the law, and I will prosecute. And he will have nothing to do with those sorts of industries where you're exposed to the public in order to engage in group stalking like this. License 6WIN188, 486S, hold on, 48620S1, 7RW, 7PMT121, 79405B2, looks like MPI, California 107066. That's a commercial vehicle. Go ahead. This is the Minion. Let me get this Minion's license plate. Crossing path with directed light. That's a Demon 8EFL009. And MPI's license is 36290G3. Monitoring with the rest of these demons who cross path. And they also go out of their way to reach toward me. That's Satan reaching out toward me with directed light. Don't worry, I'm coming for you, MPI. 8CRA093. All right, their little raggedy truck doesn't look like they'll be able to afford much of. There is no defense for group stalking. Good luck with that. But you have what is removing companies from existence while demons are engaging in that. What is the outward form for criminal conduct by the state? 5NIY296, 8TZX367, 7JDY343, AG561 handicap, 8MVP603. A bunch of demons lined up at a stoplight, group stalking. What are they doing sitting inside a building? A bunch of demons sitting around me inside of a building under the fake sun and indirect light. The same exact setting, group stalking. 7GIE383. License 6ZBE704, BF39K61. Directed light is shooting forward in front of their cars. That's how much Satan is seeking me. 92636W2. DNY Trucking Chavez, a trucking company. 8YFF737, 4LMT091. 7PQF168, 6P97278, 8YRY287, 7MGH485. It is pathetic while the entity engages in that conduct, but I'm prosecuting based on terrorism. 72010Z2, while a bunch of demons, while a bunch of, listen to my phone, okay. While a bunch of demons are obsessed, which you are witnessing through the light conduct. Their obsession is through the environment. They're not persuading anybody looking at a book in a library. You're under a fake sun and in directed light, Satan. You're fooling anybody, and the entire jig is up. And in addition to that, you're inside of any venue making a whole bunch of noise based on where I'm at, what I'm doing as I'm doing it. You have directed light moving in front of your car. How is that ever? How? They're demons, that's how. 4GLP077, and that's terrorism while a bunch of demons are obsessively stalking you and following you around. License 4YKK348, 64898K3. That's a Latina female wearing a bright yellow jacket, directed light toward me. That's terrorism, and I'm documented the same with the municipality, with these commercial vehicles. This demon possession, this demonic conduct, this group stalking, this criminal activity is not any exception with regard to that same exact impossible, ridiculously impossible. The fake sun is remaining over me on a bus going to Chino, California right now. The angle of the light is coming forward, which is impossible. Not only that, the fake sun is over me on a Route 83 bus to Chino, California. 8HOS081 is a Latina with wavy hair. She's touching my legs and my thighs with directed light while that demon is crossing path. She's a violent sex offender, engaging in monitoring with the Ontario Police and the Chaffee College Police, since they want to cross path today. We'll document them heavily. But I am when I'm in Chino, California. Everybody's being documented, but that's fine. 5BJ and 595, a bunch of freak weirdos. And that weirdo is seen through the light activity. That's what you're paying attention to. This is how Satan reveals itself. This is what I'm continuously documenting in order that you understand the pattern. And then that pattern, that's going to translate into a very intense prosecution, a very intense federal law. Okay, you're dealing with what are psychopaths. La Torta Madre, 43988U2. That Latino male with salt and pepper gray facial hair, stalking and monitoring. In that truck where he's supposedly selling food, that's a demon. And directed light in front of that vehicle while the fake sun's remaining over me going southbound on Euclid Avenue into Chino, California, directed light in the front of their cars. 7HUV427, as though sun reflection is coming from the back of their car, coming in front of their car, again on the side of what would be the passenger side because of the side of the street of Hope Boulevard that I'm located. Entirely ridiculous light activity. 50550Y2. All right, and this is the light activity you see on the bus. Directed light moving across the roof of the bus, on the side of the bus, over my head. Those demons are stalking, all right? Those demons are stalking while they're on this asphalt driving by me with directed light, reaching out toward me. That's literally Satan reaching out toward me with the light, stalkers. 8LEU540. Advanco Fire Protection, 95673M2, 047862. License 8SIL412, 7MNY831, 8FXX705, 7VBK980, 58983E3. Rider crossing path 6PDA230, 8CED001. 9ANU576, 6JJF899, 8NNK419, 8HTL740, in case I didn't read that one already, and it's 8:15 a.m. All right, license plate 8YFT081, 7CPC776. They are in images captured at 8:16 a.m. And what you're looking at, all I want you to see is the direction that they're driving. On the passenger side of their vehicles is where that directed light is reaching out toward me, diagonally from their vehicles, 4NG5. I can't really see that one, that's Stater Brothers though. And the fake sun is right over the Metro 102 apartments, okay? Keeping in front of me. As I walk east on Holt, the fake sun moves east, and that's why you see it directly over the Metro 102. In perfect alignment, it is not in any direction south down Euclid Avenue, capable of being captured through the windows, unlike what I captured yesterday that has nothing to do with the sun. It's very exclusive presence. If that was the sun over Metro 102 apartments, which is exactly where it's at, you have what the light source would not be present through the window while I'm on Route 83 that's going south into the city of Chino, where Chaffee College police are group stalking. All right, that is stalking with under the light source. That's the identification of a demon. That's the identification of a massive system. And that is employee 3072 that's engaging in that sex offense under that condition, with knowledge of the fact also that they're monitoring and also doing so in concert with and on behalf of law enforcement. Demon-possessed, violent sex offenders relying upon the people of the state. And so that mask has been pulled off, and also every aspect of that system where that concerted criminal system is underway. And that's why I'm capturing that. I want you to see the posture of your license plate that I'm documenting. They're a bunch of demons. They're not doing anything other than stalking. It's not traffic. They're demons that are pacing around me, and they're doing it under that glaring evidence. I'm literally going to expose, put this up, these images, these compelling images, in a federal court, and there's no question about what the entity is doing. There's no question about the scientific impossibility, and my ability to capture that is speaking to the fact that it is very much real. And what I am going to do is intensely, you're talking about a very, very intense prosecution, because the demon-possessed are engaged in what is unheard of methods of terrorism. And while you are seeking to, in every way, harass and terrorize an American citizen, I'm going to put you in a mental institution. And that's a matter of justice. And it's also based on your demented conduct. In other words, you're putting yourself there. You're doing it to somebody who's surrounding you with the evidence, and you're going to be surrounded with a straitjacket when you find yourself in a mental institution. And that's exactly how you should prosecute any stalker. Okay, that's engaging in this level of conduct, this level of demented conduct, while that stalker knows they're also being documented. Oh, they know, just like they know where I am under the fake sun. All right, the entity molesting, just like they know how I am, this directed light. While you see that moving on the roof of a bus while they're driving by, 6ZIW603, they know, and they're waiting for their seat in what is a mental institution and what is federal prison. Okay, it is currently 8:18 a.m. The fake sun remaining, as you see it, at Metro 102 apartments over me. This is the same Metro 102 apartment that's present after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've captured this report March 13, 2022. The entity is keeping the fake sun, in other words, in Ontario, nowhere near Chino, California. Not going to be present over some Stater Brothers parking lot through the window of that Stater Brothers in Chino, California. Those are demons, as I have very thoroughly documented, and they will be prosecuted. All right, this is conduct on behalf of the entity as well. Entity keeping the fake sun as I walk toward Ontario Town Square / the Ovid Family Community Library, 280 North Lemon Apartments, where the entity is engaging in conduct as though the sun is setting. All right, and it's 8:19 in the morning. This is P.O.C. All right, the minion you see in the red shirt with the sunglasses on, she's group stalking with a dog as her prop. That's Satan that is crossing path under the fake sun at Ontario Town Square. That's the people of the state engaged in criminal summoning. The sound of sirens, this is the entity that is group stalking with the people who are pacing all around me at this venue where the sun is nowhere near anywhere in Chino. It's remaining right over this property where I'm showing you as a matter of conclusive evidence. This is exactly where the entity keeps the fake sun. By this, I mean the Ontario Town Square, captured in the afternoon and in the evening, setting at this same venue, where it is at 8:31 a.m., where the entity is sounding sirens, which is audible activity in that deliberately maintained environment conducive for criminal monitoring by a bunch of demons who are pacing around. And I want to also point out, these are demons who are, again, they're psychopaths, which you witness through the directed light conduct. But you're also witnessing Satan, which is on the loose. You're gonna bind Satan. You're gonna bind it in a mental institution. And I'm laughing not because it's funny. I'm laughing because these are animals that really need to be snatched up, and that's what I'm revealing. But moreover, this is a demon. She's walking her dog, again, anticipating that I'm documenting her, stalking, obsessively stalking, but doesn't want to be documented. So you see her, she's walking toward the sidewalk like as though she's turning. As soon as I capture an image of her group stalking, okay, on behalf of the entity who's sounding sirens, they begin those sirens moments later. It's by moments, I mean, I take that picture and then I seek to, I'm plugging in my phone at the Ontario Town Square. That demon is not turning. She was turning in order to avoid being captured on my phone while she's stalking me. She immediately continues walking by me, which is crossing paths. She's obsessively stalking while at the same time the entity sounds sirens. I want to point that out. This is 8:32 a.m. at Ontario Town Square. This is a state facilitating venue. This is criminal summoning at Ontario Town Square. All right, I'm taking pictures of the fake sun that remains directly over my head as I stand at the Ontario Town Square beside what is the large clock at the Ontario Town Square. Documented the pattern of conduct many times here before, including both under what is the quote-unquote rising sun and the quote-unquote setting sun on essentially opposite sides of the same large clock that I'm standing by at 8:38 in the morning. If you recall, 24 hours ago at 8:38 in the morning, I am standing at the 6989 Schaefer Avenue, Stater Brothers in Chino, California. And the fake sun is, as I'm concluding that video that I captured, at 8:38 a.m., I walk right inside of that Starbucks. Starbucks is documented in that parking lot as well, but I walked into the Stater Brothers where I completed purchases. And inside of that Stater Brothers, the fake sun is visible through the window of that Stater Brothers in Chino, California. You're looking at what is directed light on the floor inside of the little lobby area as you enter that Stater Brothers in Chino, California. The entity is group stalking. Those two females standing with shopping carts just chit-chatting. Those are demon-possessed minions who are stalking in the path while that directed light and that fake sun is visible through the window of that Stater Brothers at 6989 Schaefer Avenue in Chino, California. This is not the sun that would remain stationary over this address in alignment over my head, okay? In addition to what is being present and very precise while I'm in Chino, California, in that parking lot at that Stater Brothers, including as I enter that Stater Brothers, and you're looking at what is the movement of that fake sun visible through the window of that venue. This is what I'm taking pictures of at 8:38 a.m. while I'm at the Ontario Town Square. Again, this is the same Ontario Town Square where I'm present in the evening, as I've documented both before and after daylight savings time this year, but I've documented this heavily. But again, documentation this year, the entity engaged in setting a fake sun over me at this Ontario Town Square. That was just 2 weeks ago, 2 Sundays ago, by the way. I came to the Ontario Town Square, the entity's aiming directed light underneath that amphitheater while keeping the fake sun and reaching behind the clock to molest my body with directed light. I mean, and this is after coming from Pomona and the fake sun was directly over my head in the middle of the day, whereas I remain at Ovid Family Community Library, Upland Public Library in the middle of the day, the fake sun's remaining over that roof. But now when I go to Golden Corral at Rio Rancho Shopping Plaza, was 1 and 2 in Pomona, California, which is Los Angeles County, where the fake sun, in other words, the pattern of conduct was underway, demonic activity, terrorism, state surveillance, which is not limited to any zip code, it's not limited to any property area. It is a state system of pattern. It's the state's pattern of conduct, and that's what I documented. This is the same Ontario Town Square. The sun would not be present at this address as I've documented for the duration of the day, which is the P.O.C. The Ontario Ovid Family Community Library is the same property. It's right here. The Wells Fargo, you can see it in the pictures. This is the same location where the entity is keeping the fake sun as I've documented for the duration of the day. In addition to that, it's also not mutually at the same time over me in that same position, visible through the window of that Stater Brothers at the same time, where I'm also at that Stater Brothers at 12 p.m. as I documented on, I believe, May 22nd, 2022. All right, and that is speaking to the prosecution of the Ontario police who were stalking in helicopter, as I captured in a video, engaging in what is, again, their own demise. You're talking about what is a loser, prosecuting its criminal counterpart, because the Ontario Police Department is heavily documented. They're stalking under a fake sun. They're demons. They're engaging in what is audible activity, crossing path. They are demons. They are engaging in what is an impermissible threat while they know I continuously surround them with evidence, and that's why they are stalking, again, an ongoing established pattern of stalking by that police department, by that police agency, while I continuously document the P.O.C. That's why they're stalking, and they're doing so in that environment, which I am highlighting. The fact that they're stalking by helicopter, stalking as a law enforcement agency, is also a hallmark of the pattern of conduct. Where the entity is stalking by helicopter, it is also indicative, it is also corroborating evidence of what is stalking under a fake sun, by the way. That is conduct that's occurring in that environment. That's why it's also occurring, because I'm pointing that out. While the entity, a demon-possessed one, is also hostile, while it is inevitably lost, okay, not losing, lost. The entity is engaged in ongoing obsessive stalking, which is damning to Chino, California. That's why you're stalking by helicopter, let alone the people of the state who are going to federal prison while you're attacking me, and you're stalking me by helicopter just like you're stalking by helicopter right now. It is 8:43 a.m. and this is the presence of the sun, the maintenance of the sun, which is nowhere in Chino, California. Employee 3072 was monitoring and engaging in sexual violence on behalf of those demons who you hear stalking by helicopter, the Ontario Police. All right, and this is the same location where the entity has a fake sun at 5:12 p.m. as I step out of the Ovid Family Community Library, where the Ontario Police are group stalking surrounding this venue with directed light. That's why Officer Guerrero, who I documented, and Officer John Gonzalez, they're going to federal prison. The entity is continuously demonstrating the fact that they are not only done with law enforcement, but they're going to federal prison for a very long time. While you listen to the entity, the Ontario Police Department, fly over my head, as I am reminding you about what is already published. The images of the fake sun over me and Stater Brothers in Chino, California, an impossible occurrence, capturing what is stalking with an environment. This is terrorism, a demon-possessed entity stalking in that demonic environment while they are engaged in criminal monitoring with law enforcement on behalf of law enforcement, which are, as you hear, and stalking me by helicopter, flying over my head under the fake sun in directed light in Ontario, California. This is P.O.C. It's currently 8:44 a.m. And as you'll see at 8:44 a.m., this is also where the Ontario International Airport is concentrating plane activity. These are demons pacing in commercial airline planes, stalking above me in the sky space with the Ontario Police Department. That is criminal conduct. That is ongoing corruption that's underway at the Ontario International Airport. This is news headline. You're talking about what is relevant to that prosecution and this terrorism that's underway via the Ontario International Airport, stalking me with commercial airline planes under what is that ongoing highlighted setting. The impossible placement of a light source, the stalking conduct by the police, the entity following and molesting with directed light, doing so and at mutually exclusive positions, as I'm showing, stalking with a fake sun. The entity is stalking with planes, which is the pattern of conduct. Like I said, as the entity is stalking via law enforcement agencies, stalking with helicopters, it is corroborating evidence of what is stalking with the fake sun. In the same way the entity is stalking with commercial airline planes, stalking with aircrafts, that is the pattern of conduct of group stalking. This is demonic pacing all around in the sky space, demons flying planes and helicopters, demons doing so in directed light. That's what I'm documenting while I'm reading their license plates, pacing all around me while I'm on the bus. Employee 3072, he's going to federal prison. He's also worthy of going into what is a mental institution. All right, but you're talking about what is justice, and I seek to prosecute. The mind state remains directly relevant. All right, you're talking about what is going to be mandatory with regard to being prosecuted as a group stalker, but other than that, you're talking about what I intend to prosecute. You need to serve time in federal prison for engaging in inflicting this sort of demented conduct while you're doing so on behalf of the demons who are creating audible activity of the fact that you are stalking them. That's why the Ontario Police flew over my head. That's why the Ontario International Airport is stalking, as I captured in images right now, flying over right where I'm located, the Ontario Town Square, under the fake sun. Let me be clear. What I documented days ago of the Ontario International Airport, you have 20 to 30 planes. I captured tons of images as I remained on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library, which, by the way, where the fake sun is right now, as I'm facing east, that's where the fake sun is, on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library. I understand what the entity is doing. It's in alignment with my face, over the top of my head, in alignment with my face, early morning, throughout the day, in the evening, keeping the fake sun over me. The fake sun is in the same position on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library where the Ontario International Airport is concentrating plane activity over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. The sun would not be, again, that's speaking to the unnatural environment where the Ontario International Airport is engaged in demonic conduct terrorism. All right, and that's a prosecution of an entity, the Ontario International Airport, okay, to be placed on a map, engaging in what is surveillance and terrorism, demonic conduct. In no way anything less than underscored the type of terrorism that the airport is engaging in, facilitating amongst the people who are practicing the satanic targeting system. And I captured that in images, so I just want to include that. This is following the ongoing, it's not following, it's in concert. They are stalking under a fake sun that is not over Stater Brothers in Chino, California. It's not remaining through some window of not only the bus that I'm on, but you're talking about what would be everybody at the same time, and that's not the natural environment. That's not possible. It's remaining stationary here. It's also remaining stationary here as I document the same exact conduct at the end of the day, at 4 o'clock as I exit this venue in the fake sun. It's on the same side of the property. You're just moving it north up a little bit to be right over the entrance of the Ovid Family Community Library, which is impossible. That's impossible. But what else is impossible? In that impossible environment, the demon-possessed agencies are stalking by helicopter and airplanes. And with a bunch of demons that are the people of the state, maintaining noise in that engineered light and pacing all around in directed light, okay? This is P.O.C. It's 8:48 a.m. Right over my head, that's the Ontario Police Department, the blue and white helicopter. And this is the fake sun right over my head, not in Chino, California. That's the Ontario Police engaging group stalking. Group stalking is demonic. That's the people that say stalking with light activity. That's S.I.I.S, loitering in relevant position with the method of light activity, pacing all around. Those are the people that say they're doing. You're paying attention to what is the fake sun that is advanced beyond the entrance of the library. As I stand there, it places the fake sun over my head. This is demonic pacing. As you're understanding the significance of what demons are doing, they're pacing all around, including over my head by helicopter. This is what the Ontario Police Department was doing at the museum last night as well. This is called loitering in relevant position. These are the demon-possessed who engage in stalking. Group stalking is speaking to necessarily federal prison. You're sitting in a truck, stalking in plain sight with the police, you're going to sit in federal prison. This is the impunity that you are directly addressing under federal law. This is exactly what I'm addressing. You're talking about engaging in criminal conduct in plain sight. They're in that environment engaging in what is openly surveillance conduct. And this is what they're doing while they're sitting inside around me at the inside of any venue such as the library. They're engaged in criminal conduct and they're calling it some sort of JVS event. The Ontario police are flying right over my head. This is criminal surveillance. All right, this is P.O.C. This is facilitation. This is light activity, and it's entirely demonic. This is license plate 7PNX914, tracking my steps, 8MZL510. Okay, that's the P.O.C. That's an event, that's facilitation, that's presence. That's all that is, and it's on behalf of the Ontario Police. It is currently 8:54 a.m. This is P.O.C. This is how the police, the criminal conduct by law enforcement, is prosecuting the people of the state. You're going to use that evidence directly against them. It's P.O.C. All right, ongoing evidence as to the time in federal prison that John Gonzalez and E. Guerrero will spend pursuant to the stalking conduct that they are blatantly engaging in, posing an impermissible threat for the duration of the day. As I documented upon my exit of the Ovitt Family Community Library, that same police department is stalking, flying over my head as I captured that on video in concert with the people of the state. This is evidence against, again, those minions are just ones who are identified by name and badge. They're going to federal prison. It's direct evidence against them. It is also evidence against the Ontario Police Department. Period. All right, they are disbanded. They are totally invalid. They will cease from existence, and this is what that evidence is establishing, what is necessary. But I'm also speaking to what is a template that the demon-possessed agency that is the Ontario Police Department is providing for what the rest of the country is engaged in, what law enforcement engages in, how it's placing American citizens under surveillance, doing it via the people, and doing it in what is an entirely demonic environment, which you need to become aware of. They are surrounding, sitting on the benches, sitting in a commercial vehicle with light activity, holding a quote-unquote event with tents and music. They're group stalking while the police are engaging in the same exact pattern of stalking under what is a fake sun, amongst what is directed light. The entity stalking by commercial airline planes, that's the Ontario International Airport and the Ontario Police Department. Alrighty, it is currently 8:55 a.m. and this is P.O.C. Alrighty, I just want to show you where the Ontario Police is stalking, where the fake sun is right over my head. I completed my purchase on surveillance cameras inside of Stater Brothers in Chino, California. I walk out into the parking lot and I'm showing you the fake sun in pictures that I take. The overweight minion that works for Stater Brothers is moving around shopping carts. He's stalking with noise in that parking lot in Chino, California, where the fake sun is squarely over my head. It is not over the Ontario Town Square, but it is square, meaning the natural environment. That would not be the case, right? But it is engaging in the pattern of being squarely over my head while I'm in Ontario at the Ontario Town Square, where also the Ontario Police Department is stalking by helicopter. All right, I want to be clear. The entity is engaging, this is how the demon-possessed engage in terrorism. Okay, this is crossing path. That's a demon that is stalking. All right, and you know it by the environment. They're also engaging in what is directed light while they engage in that same supposedly innocent conduct that they want to appear normal, and they're not. They're demons that engage in molesting you with directed light. Also, while I'm on the bus, while I'm walking anywhere, they're demons that engage in stalking in plain sight, because that's what this is, with communication devices. While the police, by the way, are stalking by helicopter, an ongoing indication of their conduct. And this is what the Ontario International Airport's engaged in. Group stalking with the people. All right, this is terrorism and it's demonic at its core, and that's the Ontario Police Department prosecuting minions, the people of the state. The Ovitt Family Community Library, the 280 North Limit Apartments, it doesn't matter how old these vessels are, those are demons with directed light across the building. As I've shown you on video, that's exactly what that demon is doing, targeting me, stalking. As you also know, because the Ontario Police is stalking by helicopter. Okay, this is terrorism. This is demonic pacing. He's driving in circles now again after directed light moving. This is what they were doing in Chino, California, city of Chino, doing the exact same thing. Demons. Okay, this is where the Ontario Police is stalking by helicopter. This is P.O.C. And this is 907. Remember, I captured pictures of the fake sun as I took pictures of right now. This is 280 North Lemon Apartments, where the entities keep. The fake sun is right here over the Ovid Family Community Library at 4 o'clock in the evening. It's at the same location. This is where the entities stalking by planes. That's Ontario International Airport, engaged in federal stalking, terrorism, demonic activity. They're not doing anything but criminal monitoring. This is how the demon-possessed engage in terrorizing you. Satan keeping its back to you, Satan calling itself engaging in some sort of event while the same exact pattern in the same exact environment is underway. This is a demon. This is license plate. He's going to federal prison, 7UAA077, and that is a very sick demon-possessed individual, by the way. He's going back and forth in direct light all across this building while he's doing so. He's stalking and doing so with the OPD, who are stalking by helicopter. He's definitely going to federal prison. So is John Gonzalez. All right, so is Moss. Okay, obviously Jason Lester. Jason Knight and Lester Keys. S. Patty, group stalking at the same Ontario Town Square where the entity kept the fake sun 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, this is not the sun that will be here at 4 o'clock. This is not the sun that will be here at 5:12 p.m. It is where the entity is stalking by helicopter. All right, 9:06 a.m. I have documentation of the entity keeping a fake sun over me at the DMV in Rancho Cucamonga. All right, this is a plethora of documentation. Those are psychopaths. That's the demon possessed. They're stalking with the police, monitoring with the police. This is why they're going to what our mental institution, federal prison. This is the malice that the demon-possessed engage in, and it's called federal group stalking and monitoring. Unmistakable evidence. This is not in Chino. This is directly over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. That's where they're also concentrating directed light, where they're concentrating plane activity, the Ontario International Airport, engaging in terrorism with the Ontario Police. Yes, they are going to federal prison while I'm documenting the International Airport here, where the entity is monitoring me. This is P.O.C. All right, this is a very demented psychopath. She's stalking with the Ontario Police. She's stalking with demons with directed light moving all across the apartment building. She's sitting in her car engaged in criminal surveillance. 6NUE362 under a fake sun that is nowhere near Chino, California. That's revealing her condition. This is a demon-possessed individual who is going to federal prison, threatening the life of an American citizen, doing so while the police are flying over and around you, threatening your life ominously like they're going to shoot at you or something like that on an ongoing basis where you're sleeping, wherever it is that you're going. And she is stalking with them, okay, in that specific environment. 6NUE362, she's going to federal prison. Alrighty, engaging in surveillance, engaging in criminal conduct in plain sight, you're going to sit in federal prison, and you can think about that impunity. And while she's monitoring with another demon, that's why she's going to federal prison. 3KEL078. She's going to federal prison monitoring 10613V1. Demons that are pacing with directed light across 280 North Lemon Apartments. And they're all doing it with the Ontario Police. License plate, she's going to federal prison, 8UQL328. Monitoring with these demons, and she's still monitoring while she is being documented. That's why she's going to federal prison. All right, and she's monitoring with those demons whose license plate I'm reciting. They're demons that are engaging in that demonic pacing. The directed light conduct is terrorism, but it's also facilitating what is criminal monitoring with communication devices while the Ontario Police is stalking by helicopter. That's the pattern of conduct underway in Ontario at the 280 North Lemon Apartments, next door to the Ovid Family Community Library, where the entity keeps the fake sun well after 6 p.m., by the way. And it is also nowhere near the city of Chino, where the sun would be present over my head in a parking lot, while a demon is using shopping carts to maintain audible activity in that engineered light. Monitoring. All right, it is currently 9:12 a.m. This is P.O.C. I just want to document that third party, she's going to federal prison. This is who she's stalking with, the Ontario Police, who are flying over me at the Ontario Town Square. This is seconds later. All right, I read her license plate, document. She's engaged in open surveillance with that Ontario Police Department. You're talking about dealing with the entity directly. That Ontario Police Department is entirely corrupt. That this is demonic activity that they're engaged in, prosecuted as terrorists, sex offenders, very violent sex offenders, psychopaths engaging in criminal conduct, lawlessness, while I'm also documenting that third party who I say she's going to federal prison, and I want you to hear the helicopter activity because she's going to federal prison, okay? The entity providing more evidence for which, serving for that result, which I am speaking to, she's going to federal prison for that, all right? You're not engaging in what is criminal surveillance directly by the Ontario Police. While they're doing that, they're going to federal prison as well, but so is that third party who I stated. She's monitoring while those demons pace around. I read their license plate. She's monitoring while the Ontario Police flies over me. Again, that's impunity. That demon directly is monitoring. Understand, these are demons. She's going to federal prison. I want to document that. It's 9:14 a.m. where the Ontario Police is flying over me at the under the fake sun, which is not in Chino, California, over the parking lot where I remain yesterday. At this time, exiting, fake sun remains over me as I then go to the bus stop and I get on Route 83 and I go past this venue where the fake sun is not remaining stationary over some 280 North Lemon Apartments. It's not even in that direction where it would remain through the window of the bus that I get on Route 83 going into Upland and back to Chino, by the way, which I also captured in images. That's speaking to what, again, that's a demon that is also expressing hostility. So I'm gonna give you a translation, but it's prosecuted as impunity. While demons engage in showing their hostility while they are already defeated, You're already defeated. You're already surrounded by evidence. It's showing what is the animal that you are and in need of being restrained in a federal prison. All right, that's a psychopath that is still monitoring while other demons pace around me with directed light, still monitoring while the demons of the Ontario police fly over my head with helicopters. She's going to federal prison. It's 9:15 a.m. P.O.C. Alrighty, what you are remaining cognizant of when you're looking at the videos that I have captured as I remain at the Ontario Town Square, where the entity published documentation exists of the entity engaging in stalking with this environment, the fake sun, this entire environment for purposes of group stalking and monitoring, which I'm exposing and documenting and prosecuting for. This is the same venue where the entity is setting a fake sun here. This is where I'm located, and you're going to recall while I am, again, 24 hours ago, I'm on the bus in Chino, California, and I get back on the bus and I'm passing this property. I'm taking pictures of the fake sun that's not over the Ontario Town Square. It's over Euclid Avenue, and necessarily so because I'm not going to be able to see it hovering over my window while the bus is proceeding north of Euclid Avenue, and it's also not remaining stationary over the 280 North Limit Apartments and over my head as I'm walking around the property taking pictures and video, as you clearly see, which is also highlighted, speaking to what is the exact pattern of conduct as I'm revealing it, while the Ontario police are group stalking. This is terrorism, while the demon-possessed stalk in helicopters and commercial airline planes. This is terrorism that the demon-possessed engaged in while they're monitoring in violation of federal law. So at the same time, again, yesterday is what I'm documenting, which is the unnatural environment and hence the unnatural conduct that the entity engages in. So while the entity is today stalking me by the Ontario police by helicopter over my head, it's under a fake sun, which is nowhere over me through the window of the bus while I'm documenting that ongoing directed light conduct and street for street, turn for turn, following with this light source. As I go to Chino, California, I get on the bus, come back northbound on Euclid Avenue, and go back past this property, the Ontario Town Square. I take pictures of that. Those pictures are captured. It's already published. You're looking at what the entity is doing with the fake sun that's in real-time, ongoing, constant movement as I continue to upland, and I'm documenting how the fake sun's moving right over the 7-Eleven at 204 North Euclid Avenue, moving right over the Upland, the fake Methodist Church, moving right over the Upland Unified School District, the Upland Public Library, the Upland City Hall, at the same intersection at Arrow Route Highway and Euclid Avenue, where I have video documentation of my presence there at 7:50 a.m. to be compared with where I was present at 7:49 a.m. yesterday at that bus stop at Euclid and Holt. Okay, this is everything I was pointing out. While the entity the sun is not remaining stationary over the Ontario Town Square. So this is what I want to be mindful of, because what the demon-possessed entity that are the Ontario Police Department, and you're talking about what is exposing their own. I have gone above and beyond with regard to establishing what is criminal conduct, what is corruption, and also the template whereby anybody can identify it when you're subject to it, because it's public corruption. It's also exposing what is demonic activity, which is the root cause of this public corruption, and also providing not only presenting you with the issue, I'm also presenting the resolution, and it is additional legislation, all right? But, and this is legislation that is contemplating what the government is doing. You have demons, the demon-possessed satanic conduct underway by a government and a people, and they're in positions which you are necessarily addressing. And while the Ontario Police Department is, again, aware of what I'm documenting when I go to Chino, the entity is not only engaged in criminal monitoring. This is the psychopath that's stalking me day and night, the Ontario Police Department. And then I capture those demons, for example, Guerrero, and not the same Guerrero that's engaged in multiple acts of criminal summoning. He's going to federal prison for a long time. Not that Guerrero, not that demon. Another Guerrero who I captured in images with John Gonzalez. Those demons are engaging in surveillance at this venue where I remain, and I'm documenting and reminding you about what is ongoing continuous documentation, speaking to criminal monitoring, state surveillance, and terrorism. As I documented, while I am on the bus going to Chino, California, getting on the bus, passing by this venue where the sun was not remaining stationary, necessarily so, because it's over me through the window of a Stater Brothers. It's over me through the window of a bus while I'm passing through cities. That's not remaining over any property of the Ontario Town Square, over the 280 North Limit Apartments, over the field while I'm there, capturing the Ontario International Airport, stalking with commercial airline planes. All right, this is stalking with a fake sun, and the entity, while also Satan, to its own demise, like I said, will engage in more terrorism. And again, you're dealing with an inferior minion, but I will let you know about what are the tactics of Satan. While it's not a distraction, because you're going to document it, and it's not any missing point when the entity is trying to distract from, and this is what Satan is trying to do. And Satan is the Ontario police that are stalked by helicopters. These are demons, okay? That's why I'm referencing it exactly for what it is, what they are. I'm not going to mince words. Satan is stalking in helicopters and airplanes and pacing all around in vehicles with directed light. This scene out of hell, which is the P.O.C, is occurring while they also seek to distract from pointing out the times that I'm capturing picture and video, which is not a distraction. As I'm documenting what is the Ontario Police pacing around, demons, pacing over me by planes and helicopters, all right? While the entity is pacing around with directed light, it is not missed that I remain at this address, and it is still published the same as that evidence of where I was at, which is mutually exclusive to where I am at today, speaking to that same environment. I want to point that out. These are tactics of an inferior entity, which in no way can ever address or reconcile the direct evidence of what is a scientific impossibility, revealing to you what is a matter of fact and no conspiracy theory, demonic activity, the reality of Satan. All right, if you don't want to reference Satan by name, the reality of what is wicked, demented, twisted, evil. All right, evil is not some foreign concept which you are not able to in any way pinpoint to. No. This is evil. Evil tends to engage in what is criminal, and with regard to what is the conduct of a government, it is that which is a matter of public corruption. This is entirely wicked. You are witnessing that while the entity is flying over me by helicopter, providing no distraction whatsoever. It remains an ongoing fact that I'm on public transportation leaving Chino, California, where I remain for a prolonged period, and the fake sun's in movement through the window of that bus. All right, as I go past this property where the sun is not present, and I'm on the bus, and I'm capturing the sun as we're passing by the Ontario Town Square area. No, that fake sun remained over my head through the window, molesting me with directed light, while demons are doing the same thing that they're doing at the Ontario Town Square, pacing all around me in vehicles, sitting all around on the benches, sitting in vehicles using light activity, maintaining noise levels. That's what these demons using gardening tools are doing. These are demons. Demons using loud vehicles, including there's some commercial vehicle over here that I will document, and they're pacing around. They're pacing through the parking lot. They're pacing on Euclid Avenue, all around. This is Satan all around me, and also the Ontario Police above me. Okay, and the Ontario International Airport, the documentation of that venue, where the sun is not possibly over some bus coming from Chino. It's over this location, which is not the natural environment, because the sun is not going to engage in that sort of vacillation. And it's also not viewable from Chino, California, the Stater Brothers parking lot, while it's remaining stationary over the 280 North Lemon Apartments. That's not what it is. That light source is necessarily moving, and rapidly so, as rapidly as whatever vehicle it is, as rapidly as I'm moving, at the speed of my walking pace when I'm on foot, at the speed of whatever vehicle I'm on. And that's how it's maintaining that pattern of a perfect zenith over me. And that's for the duration of the day, which is also impossible. All right. But this is speaking to, again, I want to point that out. That's what you're mindful of. In the video, you're looking at what is that fake sun. That's direct evidence. The fake sun is in the same position, by the way, where it's remaining at that same property. The Ovid Family Community Library is right here. This is the same property. Wells Fargo, Ovid Family Community Library, the large parking garage, the 280 North Lemon Apartments. This is where I'm located. This is where the fake sun is. On March 7th, I believe March 13th, these are days before daylight savings time. These are days where I remained in Ontario. All right, and if I recollect correctly, and the entity is keeping the fake sun over Ontario Town Square, where I remained in Ontario. And those are days where I documented the entity kept the fake sun from morning until the end of the day. The fake sun setting over newsboy books, all right? It's literally over the storefront, just like I captured yesterday while I'm getting off of Route 83 coming from Chino, California. And the fake sun, again, not remaining over some 280 North Lemon Apartments, as it's going to remain over the Ovid Family Community Library. Satan is engaging in what is just a blatant disregard, while I'm showing what is an entirely unnatural environment. But then again, it's not just the environment. You're paying attention to the unnatural conduct, the unnatural behavior, while Satan is at this point providing an ongoing admission, an ongoing request for restraint and straitjackets into mental institutions while they're stalking with directed light, into federal prison while they're monitoring group stalking with the police departments, all right? And using commercial vehicles. You're talking about removing those companies from existence, civilly prosecuting them, draining the pockets, all right? That is designed to deter. You want to engage in terrorism, you drain the pockets and you criminally prosecute, all right? It's currently 9:40 a.m. and under the fake sun that remains at Ovid Family, it is Ovid Family, the Ontario Town Square, that's the Ontario Police Department, and they're going to federal prison. S. Patty's going to federal prison, like I stated before. I want to remind you, because these are demons who are surrounding the Ontario Town Square and calling it some sort of event. These are the demon-possessed the Ontario Police are present pursuant to. It's called criminal summoning, while the same exact stalking activity is underway. 9:40 a.m., the Ontario Police Department is flying over me, where the fake sun remains. It's not over some bus. It's not going to be present over the Chino Branch Library. Contrary, that's not the sun. This is a demonic environment. You're understanding what is the presence of Satan. And as I'm showing you, that environment follows in the same way the demons that are the Ontario Police follow. They're demons. Okay, you're talking about snatching them out of those positions, okay, and having nothing to do with, they won't even be able to secure a doggy gate, okay. They are done, and they're going to sit in federal prison for a very long time. Literally, while you hear that, they are begging for it. It is absolutely necessary and nothing less. But it's not just those demons that are the Ontario police. Again, John Gonzalez and Guerrero are standing outside engaging in plain surveillance in plain sight. That is begging for federal prison, and that's exactly what they're going to get. The same exact criminal system is underway while they are standing outside, group stalking, using police vehicles, and engaging in following me with a helicopter, which I also captured that night. And that's exactly what I stated. You're going to remember those names and badges while the Ontario police is stalking right now and continuously stalking in a helicopter, which I'm capturing today. This is audible activity by the Ontario Town Square. I'm going to prosecute the city of Ontario. They're engaged in criminal monitoring. This is terrorism. That's audible activity in engineered light, facilitating the demons that are the Ontario police, providing evidence as to what they are doing, the significance of it. That's why a fake sun, which is not, it's not possibly the sun. And this is why I document. All right, while I'm in Chino, coming past into Ontario, going to Upland and back to Chino, California. At no time is the sun remaining stationary over the Ontario Town Square. But while it is doing so, that's speaking to a deliberately maintained environment conducive for criminal activity, which the Ontario Police Department are clearly letting you know is underway. It's not any covert system. I revealed that, by the way, by myself. And then what does Satan do while it is exposed? It engages in more conic to its own demise. And that's necessary, though, because you need to understand what it is that I've already recommended, what it is that I advocate. And the demon-possessed, who are very violent, sex-offending psychopaths, they're engaging in what is terrorism. While you're looking at the entities stalking by helicopter and under the fake sun, these are the same demons that are molesting with directed light. I captured another video of that yesterday on the bus. Impossible light. That's what Amazon Prime is engaging in, molesting my person with directed light while you are driving a car or driving a truck. That's impossible light activity. It's impossible that light is engaging in that sort of conduct. That is not characteristic of natural light, in other words. That is an impossible occurrence, which is occurring pursuant to an ongoing pattern of presence of people who are around me, also engaging heavy-duty stalking with the demon-possessed, necessarily so, law enforcement agencies. That includes the Ontario Police. When I'm in Chino, this pattern of conduct is underway. That's why the fake sun is over me. And that is the Chino Police Department engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. The people of the state who are documenting, engaging in what is harassment. That's what's wrong with Ariana Wilson, who's going to federal prison. All right, she's engaging in what is threatening and harassing while she is hostile because I'm documenting the stalker that she is. While you hear the Ontario Police group stalking, that's what she is and that's what she was doing. And that's why that specific environment is present. Directed light flashing over those demons' head. Jason Tihan and Anita and Ariana Wilson. Group stalking. What the Ontario Police Department is doing, what the people of the state are doing, is direct evidence against that entity. It is the state's pattern of conduct. It is not different, as I'm showing you as I go from city to city. The entity is to its own demise, again, as I've stated, not providing any sort of documentation that is, they're providing documentation, not providing any sort of distraction from the pattern of conduct. First of all, it remains a record where I'm at. That's not a question. Second of all, it's evidence against the people of the state. And as I stated, Ariana and Jason and Anita, they're going to sit in federal prison, and I hope that it's worth it. I know that it's not. I'm being facetious. But you're talking about engaging in what is criminal conduct that's very, very serious. You are engaging in what is this criminal system while I sit inside of that Chino Branch Library. That's what they're engaging in. It's not ceaselessly underway. It's not just underway in Ontario. The entity is molesting, as I documented the entire route, as I continuously document molestation with directed light, the hallmark of the demon-possessed. The stalkers that are following you around, obsessed stalkers following into bathrooms, following while I'm on public transportation, following while I'm sitting inside of any location, any building, while I'm walking outside, while I'm present in any location in public, group stalking wherever it is that I'm sleeping, which the law enforcement agencies are even punctuating with their stalking conduct in helicopters. They are doing so in concert. The Chino branch, that's San Bernardino County, another venue of San Bernardino County, engaging in what is this demonic system while the Ontario Police are providing evidence as to what exactly they are doing while you listen to their audible activity, citing to me what is absolutely irrelevant, their rules of conduct while they are in violation of federal law. Demons to be prosecuted as the sex-offending, group stalking minions that they are. That's what Satan was saying to me while Satan is stalking me by helicopter at the same time. No, you're going to sit in federal prison for that. And that's how it's not a distraction. That's what I want you to be mindful of. All of those pictures that I documented, I am en route from city to city on Omnitrans. and this African-American male group stalking at Riverside Drive at the Dollar Tree while the entity is molesting me while I'm sitting on that bus. The fake sun is remaining over me while I am in Chino, California, and the bus is nowhere near what is the Ontario Town Square, where the fake sun is remaining stationary over my head as I'm sitting on the bench, over my head as I'm capturing video of the Ontario police flying over my head. That is not the case when I'm on Omnitrans, and that African-American male, again, a black-faced demon, targeting another black woman with what is supposed to be the enemy, law enforcement, who's oppressing him. No, no, no. Those are demons, and they're on the same team, engaging in criminal monitoring, and I'll prosecute them both. And it's underway in Chino while the entity kept the fake sun over me, and it's underway, it's punctuated, it's highlighted, it's underscored, while the Ontario police are providing no distraction. They're providing ongoing evidence against those minions. That sex offender, he's going to federal prison as he's engaging in harassment. You're sexually violating me as a demon, okay? And then you're engaging in what is harassment, as though you don't have any privacy. Satan, what are you talking about? You're talking about a delusional psychopath. And those delusional psychopaths are flying over my head by helicopter at the Ontario Town Square. Additional evidence as to what that sex offender was doing while I'm on the bus that he was operating with those demons sitting at the back of the bus, while those demons were driving by the bus, while the fake sun was directly in alignment with me outside of the window of the bus at Riverside Drive at the Dollar Tree. All right, and I continued on that bus, the entity leaving Chino, going through the city of Upland back to Chino. At no time is the sun going to be over the Family Community Library area, over the over the Ontario Town Square, over the 280 North Limit Apartments. All right, and that's what I showed when I went to Chino, California. In the same way, it's consistent documentation showing you what is occurring everywhere that you're going, city to city, county to county. It's the state's pattern of conduct. In the city of Ontario, it is criminal conduct on behalf of the entirety of an entity that's being prosecuted as the state of California is monitoring an American citizen. That's what the demons of the Ontario Police Department are continuously providing. In addition to, again, every Ontario Police Department officer that I've encountered by name, they are definitely going to sit in federal prison. But this is evidence against the Ontario Police Department, which is evidence against the state of California. Understand how this is evidence that's working, and it's to its own demise. This is literally Satan that is literally cutting its own neck off, but that is the psychopath, that is the demon possessed, that are the demon possessed, excuse me. They engage in conduct of a psychopath while they're driving by with direct light on the wall. You see that directed light on the bus around me. That's exactly what I captured again on video. A pattern of that. An impossible occurrence, and there's a pattern of that impossible occurrence. Guess what? That's all of them. That's everybody. You see all of those demons that are stalking and molesting with directed light, standing around, focusing their visual attention on those camps that they have, like they're holding some sort of event. Those are the same demons that are molesting me and stalking while they're driving around. They're literally doing the same thing together, standing around as though they're doing something else, and that's not as though you're doing something else. Directed light is directly rebutting the fact that you're anything normal, anything other than a group stalker. They're doing the same thing while the Ontario Police Department is flying around me, flying over me by helicopter, an ongoing pattern. And those are also the same demons who are engaging in what is indiscriminate conduct, directed light, an impossible occurrence that there is a pattern of it happening. In other words, I have more than 1,500 videos of the entity stalking with directed light. You are not doing anything. You're witnessing the psychopaths while the city of Ontario, the demon-possessed Ontario City Hall, the demon-possessed Ontario Senior Center, where these 55-plus geezers, demon-possessed minions, engage in criminal monitoring. They'll catch a federal case. They'll die with that federal case. All right, they will be prosecuted as sex offending terrorists until the day that they croak over, okay? And they burn in the pit of hell. I have no pity for Satan. This is wicked and it's criminal. So this is the reality of what they're engaging in. This is what you're paying attention to when I'm capturing the video. But you're not going to forget what I just documented, not just yesterday, but what is the ongoing consistent documentation. While the Ontario Police is serving for my prosecutorial purposes, that's what the Ontario Police is doing. Because that Ontario Police Department is done. But guess what? It's not just them. The Fontana Police Department, they're done. The Los Angeles Police Department, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, that going out of its way to come to San Bernardino County to cross path, to be documented as engaged in, which they were while I documented them in 2020. Under a fake sun that remained over me at College and Broadway. Reference my documentation, July 2020, this same terroristic conduct that the entities flying over me by helicopter, the Ontario Police, that's exactly what is the pattern of conduct. That's exactly why I've stated, in order that you understand the pattern. Stalking with helicopters, Satan wants to terrorize, Satan wants to strike fear while stalking and monitoring you in a specific environment. The fake sun over me in LA, directed light around me in LA. The demon-possessed fire departments and EMT using ambulances, stalking with light activity, amplified audible activity. That's the pattern of conduct. It's 9:50 a.m. Demons pacing around at the Ontario Town Square, holding hands while they're serving Satan, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department on surveillance cameras, phones in their back pockets while they're pacing around, and engineer light. A bunch of psychopaths. All right, and this is on surveillance cameras at the Ontario Town Square, where the sun is remaining over me and is in a way remaining over anywhere in Chino, en route to Chino. The fake sun remains over this specific venue, which is documentation as it's here early in the morning, and I've documented this before, and documentation while it's here late into the evening. That is the same exact precise pattern of conduct that I'm documenting in Fontana, California, that and which is mutually exclusive, because the sun is not remaining at any address, over any block, over any strip of a street from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. But that's what I'm documenting in Montclair. That's what I'm documenting in Fontana, in Ontario. That's what I'm documenting in when I am in Upland, California, excuse me. And this is the entity that's doing this. This is a pattern of conduct which belongs to the state of California. And that is how what the entity is doing. I want to be, you're talking about what is beyond, well, it's not just the fact that it is beyond the ability to understand, which you don't want to understand. You should not want to understand what is the mindset of Satan. It's a sick mindset. All you're doing is analyzing the conduct, you're prosecuting it. Okay, and you're doing it on behalf of the ordinary target individual, an American citizen that has a right to not be subject to it. The mindset of Satan is very demented. It's sick. It is beyond what actually human beings should be diving into, because it is evil at its core. And this is at work in people. And this is people, everyday people who you're surrounded by every day, who do not want you to know their condition. And that's a matter of public information now, widely dispersed across the globe. Everybody needs to know. This is how you know about Satan. This is how you know it's unmistakable. It's a precise formula. And not only that, this is what Satan has been doing for a very long time. A very long time. And in the U.S., it's a violation of your constitutional human rights. All right. But like I said, the entity is engaging in this conduct, and what the Ontario Police Department are providing is relevant to what is the ways in which you're talking about an agency that has already written off the fact that it has no legitimacy. That you are necessarily doing that when you are clearly engaging in what is documentation. You're not helping Chino, California. You're not helping the Chino Police Department. You're not suggesting that it's just Ontario that's corrupt and the rest of the people. No, they're not engaging in any of that at all. It is the prosecution of the entire entity. Ontario Police Department is engaging in that which the state of California is engaging in. And they're doing it in a specific environment. How else are you aware of that? Because while the sun is remaining over me as I am documenting for the duration of the day, that is not any natural environment that you are subject to, surrounded by in Northern California, for example. That's not the sun that's possibly over anybody in Oakland, California, in San Francisco, California. This is revealing what is the presence of Satan, the real-time control of the natural environment, contrary to what we're told with regard to scientific facts that allegedly surround the way and govern the way that the environment works. That's a bunch of malarkey. You're revealing what is an ongoing system. And guess what? Where this demonic system, where the reality is that the environment is subject to real-time control, it's a work of the supernatural. It's not based on any science. It's in conflict with science. It's absolutely supernatural conduct in real time, witnessing my exposure of it. You're talking about what are the demon possessed. This is the setting. This is the behavior pattern. All right, that's the P.O.C. And it is speaking to what is the rest of the state, while the Ontario Police is serving for providing that template. That's what the Ontario Police Department is doing. And in doing so, already accepting its demise, which again, the disbanding of that police agency, and every single last one of them. The ones that I've documented by name, I've captured their images, they're going to federal prison. And that's by default. American citizens subject to this system, establishing the prima facie case. You're talking about your documentation is the wait for what is federal prison for the law enforcement agencies. They're engaging in kidnapping while they're subject to this pattern of federal prison. You're disbanding them. You're removing these cockroaches from existence. And you're also going to do the same necessarily as a matter of justice. This is how you are piercing through what is a vast issue with public corruption. Okay? And the state is engaging in public corruption through companies who are sexually violating while they're engaging in demonic activity. That's what Amazon Prime is engaging in. That's what I'm documenting this morning. Okay, you're going to address that under, first of all, a federal prosecution, but you're going to address that. No company is too big. You will pierce right through that, and also you're going to send that message. This is necessarily what federal law is going to inflict upon an entity that is necessarily in need of a reality check. No, you're not above the law at all, and you will cease to exist. Any law enforcement agency, any company, any third party, you'll sit in federal prison where you belong, or a straitjacket and a mental ward, removing that threat from the public. This is absolutely necessary. All right, and this is not a matter of my just stating that it's necessary. I have also shown you that it's not even me showing you. You can hear it on my podcast. This is audible activity, by the way, in the background under a fake sun that's remaining in Ontario over the 280 North Lehman Apartments over my head. Not in Chino, California, not over a bus where I'm on that's passing by this property, going into the city of Upland, making a U-turn at Foothill and Euclid Avenue, remaining over me at Uptown and Country, and then remaining over me for the entire route as I go back to Chino, California, and I remain there. That is how that's what you're paying attention to. The Ontario Police Department stalking conduct, flying over my head and engaging ongoing terrorism is serving for what is a prolonged term in federal prison. It is serving for what is a template understanding how terrorism state surveillance operates. It is also revealing what is the feudalistic and short-sighted criminal conduct of a defeated entity. You want to be a distraction, and actually you're not. You are further prosecuting what's going on, what I documented in Chino, California, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're group stalking and monitoring. That's exactly why that environment is there. That's also exactly why directed light is there. That's why I'm subject to that same exact P.O.C. while I'm in Chino, California, what is mutually exclusive. So I just want to be clear on that. Those are the tactics of a defeated entity, and it is pathetic. That's why they being the Ontario police specifically, are going to federal prison. But you've seen this in Fontana, California. You saw this in Los Angeles, California. You saw this in San Bernardino, California. You've seen this in Montclair, California. Those police departments engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring, replete with stalking by helicopter. All right, I'm listening to my phone. That's why I pause right now. It's 9:56 a.m. and so I want to make sure that I point that out to you. This is the demonic conduct by these are animals that engage in this conduct, pacing all around you, psychopaths, and then they're holding some sort of event. This is what it's supposed to look like. What you're going to pay attention to is that which is not the sun that's over me while they're holding this event and playing loud music, and while the entity is stalking, literally in the same video, the Ontario police is stalking by helicopter. This is what you are paying. This is what I've been capturing for years. This is what I've been capturing for years. They are not normal. They're the same minions that are stalking and molesting me while I'm on buses and any sort of vehicle or while I'm walking outside. In all scenarios, capturing those demons who are walking around under tents. They're not holding an event. You're looking at what is a festivity of a bunch of demons engaging in terrorism. You can look at whatever direction you want. You can call your event whatever you want while you're engaging in state surveillance and terrorism. That's exactly how it's prosecuted. That's exactly the grounds, by the way, for one that belongs in a mental institution. This entire system of public corruption is fully exposed. All right, fully exposed. And Satan is talking about, look at them, this is normal, while at the same time, look at that. That's the pattern of stalking. Guess what? They're stalking. They're stalking. And they're stalking with the police who are then present, surrounding those demons who are molesting you with directed light while you're walking outside, while you're inside of any building, while you're on public transportation, and calling it, oh, it's story time at the Ontario Town Square, under the fake sun and directed light, where the demons that are the Ontario police, as you hear them obsessively stalking, are standing outside, going by the name of Guerrero and John Gonzalez, who are going to sit in federal prison. All right, that's the absence of any legitimacy whatsoever. I have literally shown you the entirety of the insides of a criminal system, an entirely sick one, and showing you the faces of Satan, malicious psychopaths. That's the conduct of a psychopath. Look up the definition of a psychopath, the mind state of a psychopath, one who knows what's right and wrong, one who has every intent to get away with it and continue it, all right, and will go to any extent and resort to do that. You are a psychopath that's stalking in helicopter, and you're not providing any, I mean, you're talking about, you're literally prosecuting your criminal counterpart. I'm going to play this podcast in a court. A wealth of documentation, the pattern, the people of the state are always there. That's not a coincidence. The people of the state are molesting while this directed light is occurring. That's a pattern. You're talking about what is directly linked over a prolonged period, what is mutually exclusive occurring in Chino, California, or in Los Angeles County, and where I'm comparing it to any location where I'm documenting. The people of the state are always there. You're showing what are the faces of Satan. You can look at whatever direction you want. It really doesn't matter. You're dealing with psychopaths. That's how Satan conducts itself. Satan is stalking in helicopters and doing it with all the minions who I'm prosecuting. And the police departments that are stalking in helicopters are in no way being helpful to their criminal counterpart. That are the people of the state who are violent sex offenders. The police department, very concerned about what's going on in my panties. Very, very concerned. Very concerned about where I'm sleeping and what I'm doing while I'm sleeping or whatever I'm doing on my phone. Very, very concerned. Psychopaths following me around day and night. That's what the evidence of the Ontario Police Department are providing. And they're providing it against Chino, California. Another venue. The city of Chino is another venue where I was subject to the same exact system. Where Ariana Wilson, Anita, and Jason Tihan, they're going to federal prison for speaking up as an entity that's engaging in this threat to a life, you will find yourself very quickly in federal prison. And that's exactly what I documented, and that's exactly what they are going, where they're headed. All right, and that's relevant to what is protecting American citizens, where the government's not going to stop you from documenting while they're threatening your life. Can you wrap your mind around that kind of psychopath? This is the state, okay? This is the state that's stalking day and night, and then you're telling me that I'm not going to document, and you want to reference some piece of paper, some rules? Are you? Yeah, they are serious, and they're so serious. That's what, because they are serious, they're going to sit in a very serious federal prison. That's how serious it is, because you're talking about what you're going to snatch Satan out of this delusional state. All right, and drop them down into reality. And let me be clear: the demon possessed that engage in ongoing obsessive stalking, the message that federal prison must send, the message that federal law must send and communicate, which is serving for a deterrence, is that unless you want to sit in federal prison, which you shall, for a very long time, unless you want to sit in what is a mental ward for a very long time, which is, again, your mental state is directly brought into question upon being documented engaged in the P.O.C. It's no question what you're doing. I've established the pattern of conduct. It's a matter of demonic activity. You're talking about what is the grounds of punishment, which you'll be subject to. Unless you want that, then you're engaging in criminal monitoring, because you're going to be subject to that. So when you are sending that message as the federal government, this is how you are speaking to what is the impunity that I'm capturing. Sitting out engaging in plain sight, stalking somebody, you're threatening their life. You might as well hold up a knife in the air and look directly at them while you're keeping your back to them, while police are following them around and threatening their life by helicopter, and you think you're free to engage in criminal monitoring with that police agency. No, you're not. And you'll find out how free you are not when you are sitting in federal prison. That is necessarily what federal law, what the federal government, what the role that federal government has with regard to this system that I'm exposing. All right, it's currently 10:01 a.m. and the fake sun, as you hear, is remaining. And this is a demon. This is a documentation of the Ontario Town Square townhomes engaging in criminal monitoring, engaging in what is terrorism, engaging in what is harassment and intimidation by an entity while the Ontario Police patrolling over me. This is the same with the Ontario International Airport. This is documentation of that entity. While the entity keeps the fake sun over me in Ontario and nowhere near Chino, California, as I'm documenting the minions in the parking lot as I get off the bus. The entity is keeping the fake sun. Chino, the city of Chino, those are demons in the same way that they're driving by on Lemon and directed light across 280 North Lemon Apartments. That's what those demons of the city of Chino were doing as I documented in the city of Chino, California, where the fake sun's directly over my head. These lily white women are stalking me in a parking lot in operation of their communication devices while directed light is surrounding me. Okay, the ongoing scene out of hell where that system is underway. The Ontario Police Department is serving to prosecute that. Not that I need their help. I don't need the Ontario Police Department's help. I prosecuted them on my own. All right, but you're talking about what is the futility, what is a defeated entity, and where its criminal conduct is serving nothing other than what is longer time in federal prison, while it is doing it under what is a fake sun, speaking to the environment where you're monitoring, and it is nowhere possible over at this same time my head in the parking lot in Chino, California, where the city of Chino is pacing around in a parking lot. Demons, the municipality. While directed light is all around me and the fake sun is over me as I'm capturing that fat Latino in the city of Chino vehicle talking about, I'm sitting here. You say whatever you want. You're sitting here group stalking in the path, monitoring with the Ontario Police Department who are monitoring while I'm in the city of Ontario. That's what the city of Chino was engaging in. As I'm documenting them sitting in their cars, fake sun remains over my head as I walk to the venue of the Chino Branch Library where the entity kept the fake sun all day. All right, that's what you're mindful of. It is currently, this is a demon that is pacing with engineered light, the fake sun over my head, with the it is the city of Ontario, but with the Ontario Police Department and with the Ontario International Airport. Understand, Ontario International Airport is engaged in terrorism and has been for years, by the way. All I'm doing is pointing out to you, as I, for example, point out Southwest Airlines, that might be the particular company. The Ontario International Airport is the state facilitating venue where literally terrorism is underway. They are ushering out planes on an ongoing, constant basis, and they are doing so in that specific environment. And that is, again, criminal monitoring on behalf of the Ontario Police. So you're talking about what is very real punishment with regard to the Ontario International Airport, those in that position facilitating that criminal system who are going to sit in federal prison. And for a very long time, this is how you're piercing through and literally exterminating what is the system of these demons that are engaging in public corruption in the city of, in the state of California, as I'm documenting it in the city of Ontario where I'm at today, where the fake sun remains. It's 10:04 a.m. and the fake sun is not over the entrance of the Open Family Community Library. It's over me where I remain at this bench, all right, because the entity is stalking with an environment. And as I walk toward that venue, then the fake sun is over that entrance. but that's referencing and revealing what is impossible to be the case, especially as I remain in Chino, California. Okay, this is P.O.C. What you're listening to is audible activity, which is harassment by a demon-possessed entity. I'm going to document this demon. Alrighty, this is the Ontario Town Square. This is a demon that's using a lawnmower. This is pacing. This is what a demon is doing, pacing, and the prop is a lawnmower. It's the maintenance of audible activity. And again, what is highlighted, you're talking about when you're getting past the superficial. Satan using a lawnmower, Satan using a baby stroller, Satan using walking a dog, Satan using a helicopter, Satan using airplanes. Okay, it's the P.O.C. And this is also harassment. This is also harassment while they're stalking you, maintaining noise around it, and you're going to prosecute. This is the City of Ontario, a facilitating venue, where the fake sun is directly over my head as well, while this maintenance of engineered light. This is on behalf of law enforcement. This is grounds of federal prison, okay? It is currently 10:06 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, Ontario Town Square, this Latino male wearing the farmer's hat, he's pacing. This is a demon, this is demonic activity, this is terrorism. Also providing what is ongoing amplified audible activity, which is also harassment while demons stalk you with noise creation. They're doing so under the fake sun. They are sex offenders molesting with directed light, and doing so with Southwest Airlines. That's the Ontario International Airport that flies over in relevant position under the fake sun. In Ontario, California, that is nowhere near the Chino, the city of Chino over my head as I get off of the bus in Chino, California, and go to the Chino Branch Library, where I'm showing you the fake sun over my head in that parking lot, crossing a path conduct under that fake sun in that parking lot, directed light as I'm documenting it in real time on my podcast while demons are pacing around in that parking lot as I walk through, including the African American male who's seated at that the Chino City Hall. That's what I documented. The white woman, she's an operator of a communication device at that Chino City Hall. They're maintaining presence all around, monitoring while the entity is keeping the fake sun over me in Chino, California. This is the pattern of conduct that is underway, the same exact system, the criminal system, demonic system in Ontario, okay? And it is mutually exclusive because that would not be the sun in that position at the same time. And also, it would not be at that address for the duration of the day, which is the pattern everywhere that I'm going. All right, and so it is currently 10:08 a.m. That's Ontario International Airport, specifically flying over me. You see the large, I took pictures specifically so you can see the large clock at the Ontario Town Square. The fake sun is over me. I'm in literally the exact same position as I documented March 13th at, you're talking about after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which during daylight savings time would be 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The fake sun, I'm standing right there. The entity engaged in criminal summoning, I documented those third parties. They're going to federal prison already, but I'm just reminding you of my location. You're looking at the same exact presence of the fake sun. Well, I've been at that location right by the large clock on many occasions. You're talking right now. It's 10, and the entity's kept this fake sun in this position. I've been here since around the 8 o'clock hour. This is the same position where it is after 3 o'clock, after 4 o'clock, after 5 o'clock. The entity's setting the sun, and that's also exclusive, mutually exclusive, because the entity keeps the fake sun over the Ovid Family Community Library while I'm there. That's why when I step out at 5:12 p.m., you see it facing the entrance doors, aiming light underneath those entrance doors. You see it on the side of the Ovid Family Community Library, not over the field of the Ontario Town Square, because I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library. If I'm at the Ontario Town Square, that's where you'll see, which I've already documented, the fake sun is over my head at that Ontario Town Square, right by the large clock. Moving that fake sun, keeping it over my head, moving that fake sun, keeping it in front of me in whatever direction that I move at the early hours in the morning and going into the evening, keeping the fake sun over me in its zenith at all times of the day while the entity is stalking. And this is Satan that is literally patrolling all around me everywhere that I go all day long in that specific environment. This is a demon-possessed entity. I want to be clear, Satan using a multiplicity, using an entire people and a government, and all they're doing is literally Tasmanian devil conduct, spinning all around me for an ongoing period. While I'm inside, they're pacing all around. By pacing, I mean walking all around me like a security guard patrolling. That's why I've used that term, patrolling. They are engaging in this conduct. This is literally Satan that is patrolling around me on an ongoing, ceaseless basis. Okay? It is currently 10:10 a.m. and this is P.O.C. I want you to hear that. I'm going to prosecute for this is terrorism and harassment. This is the Latino male. He's just pacing, using a lawnmower. That's Satan. Eugenio. That's Eugenio. His name is Eugenio, and that's Merchants. I want to make sure you hear that. His name is Eugenio, and that is Merchants Landscaping, engaging in that criminal conduct with the Ontario Police at the Ontario Town Square, and that is a demon that is pacing using a lawnmower. Lawnmower is noise. All right? Fake sun, this is the P.O.C. Ontario Police Department talking by helicopter, P.O.C. Criminal summoning under the fake sun, P.O.C. Okay? It is currently 10:11 a.m. Eugenio, If he's not a natural born citizen, you're going to deport those demon-possessed minions out of the country after they are prosecuted, okay, and not permitted to return. Eugenio is engaging in monitoring with a company. You're going to drain the pockets of that company, all right? You're also subject to criminal prosecution, all right? The entity is using commercial brands to engage in criminal conduct, which you don't have a right to create any company or use a company to facilitate state surveillance and terrorism. You will be prosecuted, and that is a matter of public information, the fact that that company is engaged in that, and that is also speaking to what is facilitation by the demons who are engaged in criminal summoning. Eugenio is engaged in, and merchants are engaged in criminal summoning. It is 10:12 a.m. and the sun is not over any venue in Chino, California, as I have documented. The entity is keeping the fake sun over me while I am remaining at the Ontario Town Square, and those are demons that are pacing all around. And this is that entity that engages in the P.O.C. to its own demise. Its system, which is supposed to be a secret, it's supposed to be covert, it's supposed to be a matter of public corruption, which you can never prove. That is long gone. You're talking about what is serving and what is a matter of justice. While an entity engages in this sort of criminal system, you see what is the attitude of Satan to continue threatening your life. That's why, again, John Gonzalez and E. Guerrero, they're going to federal prison. This is the very criminal conduct that they were engaging in while they're standing outside in my face thinking that you're going to threaten me and remain free. You're not. You're going to federal prison, and all of the videos of the Ontario Police Department stalking me by day and night by helicopter will be used against them. 1580347 Ontario Municipalities Criminal Summoning 8RBX 877 8RX. Excuse me, 8RXR 877 criminal summoning, 4HVZ 685, 8TWW 960, 7HQV 609, license 8CPW 382. And it is 10:13 a.m. where the fake sun remains over me in Ontario at the Wells Fargo, in direct conflict with what I captured in still images and video while I'm in Chino, California, going through Upland on public transportation the entire time, and then I ultimately remain in Chino, California. This is while you are listening to what is understanding demonic train activity. It's occurring under a fake sun and an engineered light. And it's actually amplified audible activity, which you would not hear at that volume. It's serving the criminal system. It's another variation of what is sirens. It's audible noise, 8FRC248, and that's a prosecution of what is a company called Union Pacific. License plate. I already read her license plate. She's criminally monitoring under the fake sun, walking into Wells Fargo. I documented all Wells Fargo employees' license plates, parked outside, monitoring with the minions who are pacing around. She's an overweight, lumpy minion walking into the venue on surveillance camera. She's engaged in criminal summoning, 8PDV137, walking into a facilitating venue where they too are monitoring and speaking to what is the ongoing criminal system where you are engaged in what is monitoring with what is Wells Fargo, by the way. That's where she's walking into, where Wells Fargo is engaged in criminal summoning and monitoring. License 4WPJ891. That's why the fake sun is over me at Wells Fargo. CJP8613 Arizona, 8YVU995, 78446L2, 6KZM829, 4ZJE879. And while demons are pacing on Euclid Avenue. Those are the same demons pacing around me when I'm on the bus in directed light, molesting my person all over the roof of the bus, all over, moving all over. Those are demons. They're pacing in traffic. 7S58310 while the entity surrounds me with noise. Okay, that demon, Eugenio, was surrounding me with noise using a lawnmower. 8ULL292. Eugenio is ripe for deportation. License plate. 4WPJ891. License plate 4URZ253, and not only deportation, making sure that he is recognized as a terrorist in this country. And if he's not a natural born citizen, yes, you deport that minion out of this country. We have enough demon-possessed minions in here. We have enough of an issue. By we, I mean this country. And the criminal conduct of the entity that's utilizing the people of the state. You're talking about what is, literally in violation of the very laws that you agree to be governed by or state that you want to be governed by while you're in this country monitoring another American citizen. 8LWV570, and that's also the company Pizza Hut criminally monitoring. Engaged in criminal summoning, every license plate that I'm reciting, by the way. All right, this is speaking to that ongoing pool of defendants that are, again, engaging in ongoing impunity, continuing engaging in state surveillance, doing so in an unmistakable environment, irreconcilable with regard to your presence there, your directed light conduct, a matter of evidence. Everything that is alleged with regard to that pattern of conduct is a matter of direct evidence. 00262B2, stalking with light. License, and they're surrounding in the path, stalking with light. This is the demon stalking with, this is Pizza Hut with directed light on the ground, honking their horn as though they're looking for somebody. They're stalking. License, directed light inside of the parking garage. A790BO, Pizza Hut molesting my person. I'll prosecute them for that. 6XWS 171, CD30H07 paper, 5RRS258, BREYV, heart, 8RUU637. These are demons who are following in JVS SoCal Veteran Services, monitoring while the Ontario International Airport is amplified audible activity, while the Ontario Police Department is stalking by helicopter. So they enter in the parking garage with directed light flying about on the walls. They're group stalking. 8DMG519, that's a psychopath. 8JKV324, 8PTR554, and their license plates are 8UJT189 and A790BO. All right, U.S. government plate G1306008Y. License 7RIR194. It's 10:17 a.m. 8UVH100. 8VFC469, 6WDN231, 7JSZ121 coming in just to molest my body with directed light inside of the parking garage, 7JHS281, 8HRK285, E279KO, 6JZE494, 8EMM094. And again, this is JVE Veteran Services engaging in criminal monitoring. They're sex offenders, they're engaged in criminal summoning, they're engaged in harassment and intimidation while the Ontario Police repeatedly flying over my head by helicopter. All right, and they're following into the parking garage while they're stalking in plain sight. They're following into the parking garage. As I walk into the parking garage, where directed light also follows into the parking garage. Impossible light activity. All right, that is Satan that's engaging in, that's audible activity and directed light. All right, they are the ones that are under the tent over there while the Ontario Police is flying over my head. Okay, that's terrorism, that's P.O.C. And those are their license plates again. I want to make sure I document. A790BO. She finds it very funny. I found her prosecution funnier. It is currently 10:18 a.m. P.O.C. Alrighty, license plate 7SMK031 molesting. 8GRP941 7T51369. This is Front Sight. This is a company for the military. They're over here holding some event for the veterans. They're engaged in criminal monitoring. Okay, they are demons engaging in this pattern of conduct. 7PFP194, and the fake sun is clearly captured. I'm reading their license plates. There is no exception of any person. The Ontario Police flying over by helicopter. They are monitoring with the Ontario Police Department and the Ontario International Airport. 8UQW971, 7LVP994, 8LSB383, 6BKZ556, CC02M15 paper, 8HXR280. Monitoring with the City of Ontario, 1602393, City of Ontario. It is 11, excuse me, it's not 11, it is 10:19 a.m. Ontario Fire engaging in what is using their fire truck as light activity while these demons are pacing around. All right, frontsightmo.org, these are demons. And here in the name of representing veterans while they are engaged in the absolute most un-American and demonic conduct, criminal monitoring. 7T51369, those are the ones you hear laughing in direct light under the fake sun, which is in Ontario. It's direct conclusive evidence of their demon possession, by the way. 4YKK348, Satan can call its event whatever it wants, holding up flags. I documented the same criminal activity while the Upland Police is stalking me by helicopter. Ontario Police stalking me by helicopter under the fake sun. And they were out there holding a monument, wearing flags on their apparel, group stalking and terrorizing. It does not matter what Satan wants to call it, all right? But it is relevant because you need to understand, see all of Satan's faces. This is P.O.C. JVS SoCal, jvssocal.org. I'm going to prosecute them. This is P.O.C. Frontsightmo.org. They're here engaging in criminal monitoring. The Ontario Fire Department is using lights in relevant position. And they were monitoring the entire time as I'm capturing the Ontario Police by helicopter. License 1805983 pacing, 8GHB986. They're also sex offenders molesting with directed light while they're standing here holding a visual of an event for veterans, which is what Satan is calling it. It is 10:21 a.m. All right, license molesting 6LHS543. And this is acting in concert with the Ovid Family Community Library. Understand where I'm inside of the venue. This is relevant positioning in the same way that Farmers Market is on Sundays. They're engaging in relevant positioning. There are a bunch of demons that are monitoring the entire time. The fake sun remains over me, all right? Remains over the venue where they're engaging what is criminal monitoring. That's what these demons are doing. But this is group stalking conduct. This is an ongoing obsessive stalking system by a demon-possessed entity that is prefaced by stalking conduct by the entity acting directly by police, fire, ambulance, right? Using helicopters and airplanes to engage in ongoing stalking. It's 10:22 a.m. All right, monitoring with a minor child, a sex offender molesting my person, criminal monitoring, criminal summoning with the Ontario Fire Department, Ontario PD, BN56874, that's a Latino male, with a child in the back seat. sexually violating me, touching me with directed light, stalking with the Ontario Police Department, terrorism, all right, and posing an impermissible threat in doing so. The Ontario Fire Department, the Ontario Police Department are at Metro 102 where criminal summoning is underway. It is currently 10:22 a.m. I captured images of that. That's in relevant position to these demons that are calling their event a Veterans SoCal Services. And this demon is approaching for monitoring, offering me a water bottle. Did I ask you for water? Oh, he's under the fake sun offering water though, while the Ontario police are in relevant position. Okay, that's called, that's a method of pacing. He walks toward me, then he walks back. All right, that's the P.O.C. It is currently 10:23 a.m. monitoring with this, again, this demon with the paper plate BN 56874. They're acting in concert. Alrighty, I want to be clear, JVS SoCal Veteran Services engaged in criminal monitoring and monitoring American citizens, obviously the U.S. Army. Alrighty, first of all, the directed light fills the venue of the Ovid Family Community Library. The sun is remaining in Chino, California. I am capturing, documenting the maintenance of that light source over me into the city of Chino where I remain. The light source is captured directly over my head. This is engineered light that is inside. These are demons who are present. They are engaged in criminal monitoring and capturing what is harassment by, this is Securitas and the Ovid Family Community Library together. As you see, she follows me outside. Monitoring unlawful operation of her communication device while I'm documenting. She is also following inside. This is the pattern of conduct that's underway. She's stalking and harassing. And I want to be clear, this is audible activity of the entity that's engaged in harassment, yelling out and quote, because this is a demon speech, but this is harassment that I'm going to prosecute them for. It's audible activity. It's in the specific environment. It's serving to monitor while they're in real-time monitoring documentation, which they are not able to stop me from uploading onto my podcast. And so while they obstruct one ability to upload my video to my podcast, I upload it in another way, but with simultaneity to that effort, which is criminal monitoring. They're monitoring on the internet. You have a third party that yells out, yeah, black bitch. Okay, this is audible activity in directed light, and you are also looking at what is harassment by the same security guard who follows me around. She follows into bathrooms. She's also following while I'm outside capturing documentation, and she is following while she's in relevant position, again aiming her phone at me, stalking. This is the same one that stalks in the bathroom. It's the people of the state, but I'm documenting also the company that she's representing while she's engaged in criminal monitoring and sexual violence and harassment. They are monitoring with the Ontario police, who I captured in video and on podcast, stalking flying over my head by helicopter. I'm documenting what is this. This is an event by a bunch of demons who are representing the U.S. Army, the Navy. They are all in directed light. They are present in relevant position as I capture on video while the entity is flying over my head by helicopter. It is the same exact pattern of conduct that I'm documenting on an ongoing basis. The entity is arriving by more state actors. That's what the U.S. Army represents. That's what the Navy represents. These minions who are present, pulling out a table cover with the words Navy on it, is only probative of what is no exception to demonic activity in the criminal system. That's what it reveals. Those demons are under the fake sun, and it is that ongoing impossible environment where it is directed light inside of the venue. This is impunity. This is the entity that's stalking with the police department who are in relevant position, having no legitimacy whatsoever. It is literally incriminating you. Not that that's what the group system is built on, but it is incriminating you while you are in relevant position with the Ontario Police Department. That's how treacherous that agent, literally the name is. They are, I mean, absolutely done with regard to being bullied with evidence. Essentially, while they seek to bully me by stalking by helicopters, they've been bullied by evidence, and they're going to find themselves in federal prison and in mental wards when I get done with them. And this is, I'm just speaking the facts. How you're going to prosecute group stalking. This is a stalking conduct by an entity that is a very violent sex offender, a psychopath, a demon-possessed one. And it is that which is shared amongst a group. And this pattern of conduct, this directed light, my multiple shadows I'm showing you on the ground, while Securitas is group stalking inside of the venue, engaging in an ongoing pattern of stalking me inside of the venue of Ovid Family Community Library, outside of the venue of the Ovid Family Community Library, which I've also documented my communicating with a demon nonetheless, but I'm documenting it. It's relevant to how I'm going to prosecute Stephen, all right? But like I said, Stephen is a minion. Stephen is the one that's monitoring me while the Ontario Police Department fly over my head, as I documented 48 hours ago, okay? So like I said, I'm communicating with a minion. They are all monitoring together. They are all group stalking under what is a fake sun. You are looking at them standing under the fake sun as I'm taking pictures inside of the Ovid Family Community Library, and that is the minions that are in the U.S. Army in this country, the minions that are out there trying to recruit for that while they're engaged in un-American conduct, by the way, and demonic demonic conduct, terrorism of another, while they're holding this event, this recruiting event, and the entity is stalking, flying over my head by helicopters, engaged in criminal summoning, and inside uttering what is harassing audible activity. Yeah, black bitch. Okay, this is P.O.C, and I want to make sure that I verify the identity of that third party, and as I document that, which is an ongoing threat to your life, the entity is stalking by helicopters, physically attacking you, stalking with the whole environment. There is no reconciling the presence of the Navy or the Army. You can pull up in whatever vehicle you want, documenting this demonic activity on the grounds of churches. It does not matter. There is no respecter of any person. You're looking at how broad and how wide this condition is, and how the criminal system, there is no exception to it, including those with a federal government license plate present in relevant position group stalking, which is not the first time I documented that, by the way. Demonic activity by those in uniform of the military, documenting, witnessing Satan wearing an Army uniform before, and the entity then flies over my head. That was the Ontario Police Department. I documented that. But like I said, this is the pattern of conduct that's underway. This is harassment by an entity. This is Securitas following me around, monitoring, aiming their phone at me while she's witnessing me prosecute her. This is the same one engaging in what is waging false allegations, defamatory ones, that's federal prison, group stalking to date, with the Ontario Police, engaged in criminal summoning. You see them outside. Securitas is inside monitoring with that police agency. And this is ongoing evidence of it, and she's going to federal prison for it. It's not just her. This is documentation of the entity, but I want to be clear that this is who I'm capturing in images while they are all together monitoring with the audible activity of a minion in relevant position while they are monitoring in that directed light. The sun is not over the elevator, over the building of the Ovitt Family Community Library, when I'm clearly capturing it over my head in Chino, California. And that is capturing what is a matter of objective evidence, the demonic conduct that even those recruiting for the Army, those bearing federal license plates, those engaging in supposed alleged services for veterans, engaging in un-American and demonic and criminal conduct with the entirely illegitimate Ontario Police Department and the Ontario Fire Department. It is currently 11:15 a.m. This is P.O.C. While you're standing under a fake sun. Okay, Satan driving an Ontario police vehicle, license 1515411. And let me be clear, the fake sun is over the same parking garage of Ovitt Family Community Library where it was this morning as I captured the pictures of that. And you have the stalkers admitting that they're a stalker with their audible activity, which I don't need because I have the evidence of their stalking conduct. And you have Guerrero again engaging in criminal summoning. He's going to federal prison. It is, and not the Guerrero the other night. This is Guerrero that's stalking at the museum. This is, I'm sorry, what's your name? You know me, but I don't know you. What's your name? What's your name? I know this meaning. This is Guerrero. That's Medina. What's your name? Harigi. Who? Harigi. Harigi? That's different. Do you have a badge number?
How are you? I do.
What is your badge number? Oh, Harigi, I see it. What's your badge number?
Number 1.
80538.
80538, thank you. And what about this one who's stating that he knows me? I've never seen him.
Too. He's busy. He's my boss.
You guys are busy stalking. That's what you're busy doing, breaking the law. Where's your helicopter at? Where's that at? Where's your helicopters? I'm doing good. You're not doing so well, though. You're not doing so well. Not at all. Hi, officers. You guys are public servants, right? This one seems to know me. Would you mind? I've never met you before, but hi, Higgins. What's his name?
Murtich. I saw your YouTube video. That's why I know.
How did you see my YouTube video?
You guys just post on YouTube.
I know. There's a lot of people on YouTube. There's a lot of people on YouTube, though.
I saw it on YouTube.
There's a lot of people on YouTube. What drew your attention to my YouTube channel? 80310. What's your name?
Murtich.
Murtich? Okay, so would you be the one that's flying the helicopters over me day and night? Were you the one doing that this morning when I captured those 2 videos? Was that you? Is that how you know who I am? Is that how you know what I'm posting on YouTube? Is that why? Huh? Okay, I wouldn't address that either. You don't have to, though. That's why you document criminals like yourself. License 1627385. I will tell you to your face, as you know, as I capture all your videos of stalking me by helicopter, you're all going to federal prison. And you're done with law enforcement. Have fun while you can, though. Have fun while you can. That was Murtic, by the way, with that badge number that I recited. They're engaged in relevant positioning. The fake sun is over the parking garage as I exited the Ovitt Family Community Library. There are sex offenders monitoring while my panties are down. That's also why you're done with law enforcement. Engaging in group stalking, standing outside of the Ovitt Family Community Library. It is currently 6 p.m. and so you'll see that image of the light source that's directly over the parking garage. Ontario Police Vehicle 1627385. This is criminal summoning. And that is the same Guerrero that's captured at the museum and engaging in what is criminal summoning on that morning as well, as I documented him in Medina. That was harassment while they're exercising fictitious authority of the law while criminal monitoring is underway, as it has been for years. And you have an officer, that's when he doesn't want to reference me when I start recording, but these are psychopaths. The enemy was flying literally zigzagging over me by helicopter this morning, and they're standing out and they're still stalking right now. And you have, before I capture video, oh, who is this? As you're stalking, you're monitoring, okay? And you know that I'm heavily documenting it, but he says nonetheless out of his mouth, oh, it's her, as though he did not already know who I am. You're, first of all, in directed light. Okay, you are under what is an impossible environment, speaking to your condition. These are a bunch of demons that work for the Ontario Police Department, who are done with law enforcement, engaging in ongoing stalking as they are documented. Understand, using their vehicles and stalking in the path is another method in addition to what is stalking by helicopters. And this is what they're doing surrounding the Ovid Family Community Library at 6 p.m. where the fake sun is over that parking garage. And that's what you need to pay attention to, those pictures. You're looking at the fake sun that's over me while I'm capturing the entity stalking by helicopters. I'm at the Ontario Town Square. Moreover, I'm in Chino, California yesterday. Okay, the sun is not over the parking garage. I'm en route to this venue. That's a matter of what is established evidence, and this is within an ongoing pattern. While they're standing out in plain sight, this is revealing to the world what is their condition, which I am dragging them before the world, which they're admitting. You're looking it up on YouTube. So because it's on YouTube, that there's a lot of people on YouTube. All right, you're talking about what is a stalker that knows exactly who I am, and you're referencing a YouTube channel, which is no grounds for specific identification, but you already know who I am. That's why you're stalking me by helicopters. All right. And that's also, he doesn't want to address that, but I just want to bring that up. That's what I addressed with him while he's literally making an admission, an implied admission as to knowledge. But again, I don't need that. You're stalking. You are literally stalking. You're a bunch of demons that are stalking, and they are crowded in relevant position. As I took a picture of them, the fake sun is over the parking garage in the same location. This is where I was this morning, capturing the JVS SoCal. Those are demons and calling themselves providing veteran services, and they were group stalking while the Ontario Police was flying over me repeatedly by helicopter. You witnessed what is group stalking by those who call themselves providing services for veterans, engaging in what is, again, those veterans, demon possessed, monitoring, criminal monitoring, un-American criminal activity, while the Ontario Police were flying over my head by helicopter under what is a fake sun that was nowhere near Chino, California. That is captured on video and in images. And what you will see is that light source, which is not, this is not the natural environment. And these are the demon possessed that are the Ontario Police, who are stalking now continuously under what is a light source that's over the same exact parking garage. And also what I captured the other day of the parking garage, when I'm capturing a picture of the fake sun at 8:05 in the morning, I'm on the opposite side of the same street, and I told you to pay attention. All the entity does is place it right over the top of my head, which is where it was at the same location early in the morning. So this was around 10 o'clock in the morning. After 10 o'clock, the fake sun's over the parking garage while I'm walking outside of it. I'm right in front of it, and I'm capturing images of those group stalkers following me into the parking garage, directed light moving all about inside of the walls inside of that parking garage, and then they go walk their demon-possessed self right back over to the tents where they're providing veteran services and engaging in what is monitoring, group stalking via an ongoing recruiting scene. That's what those demons were doing. The entity engaging in that criminal conduct with the Ontario Police Department, who remain here under what is that direct evidence of it. And that is speaking to what is impunity. So those are, again, those that are unfit, disqualified in every way, not only based on their criminal activity, but these are demons, and they are fully exposed as that. They are in that environment and monitoring what the Ontario Police's 8 MLM035. Stalking with light activity and engaging in ongoing molestation. And the entity is stalking by planes right over here under the fake sun as well. All right, the sun is nowhere, as you see by my images, nowhere near Chino, California. It's over the parking garage structure. That is out of that's the Ontario International Airport monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, by the way. The entity's light sources remaining over me while I'm at the entrance area of the Ovid Family Community Library, where the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department like to follow American citizens around with helicopter and then stand out in plain sight like you have any legitimacy. It's pathetic. All right, they're stalking, wearing police badges and uniforms while they are stalking someone. That's pathetic. Pathetic. Can you spell that? I doubt it. Anybody can be a cop these days. This is speaking to what is that public corruption. So the Ontario International Airport is monitoring, and the entity is engaging in what is patrolling over me under the fake sun in directed light. Okay, so this is the entity that's engaging in that conduct. It is currently 6:05 p.m. There is no sun that would be present over the bus coming from Chino, California, remaining over the parking lot, remaining aiming through the windows, right? Where all those demons in Chino were very petrified as I was documenting the directed light. How do you have sunlight coming through the windows of the sun is right there, shooting horizontally, All right, that impossible light activity is never naturally occurring. But nonetheless, you have what is that light source remaining over me as I come to this venue, and it's remaining at the same, over the same structure where the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department are engaging in group stalking. All right, so this is federal stalking by what is law enforcement. That's default grounds under existing federal law. It's grounds of federal prison. All right, and they're doing so with the people of the state. They're monitoring group stalking with the people of the state, and they're violent sex offenders. This includes every officer who I documented, monitoring while my panties are down, engaging in light activity. These are demons under what is an impossible environment. That's directed light inside of the parking garage, while 7THUJ20 is group stalking with them in the on the street right here. All right, this is P.O.C. It's currently 6:06 p.m. Make sure I get that correct license plate. 7THJ420. Facilitation with the people of the state. They're poisonous to the society. That's sad. It's pathetic. That's what the Ontario Police Department are doing. They're a bunch of demons. This is P.O.C. It is 6:06 p.m. All right, license plate 1953883. 6BIK 759. Sitting around group stalking with the Ontario Police. 7LBF 391, 8UBS 706. And the Ovid Family Community Library, again, while I'm inside, they are monitoring while the Ontario Police just remains grouping around the venue and the people of the state. The same, I read that one already, 8UBS 706. It is currently 6:07 p.m. VGV152. Engaging in surveillance in the parking garage while the demons are driving on the street, monitoring with the Ontario Police, directed light moving through a parking garage. This is demonic conduct. She's engaged in surveillance with the police, 6TUM814. 8MOC 327. 65656A3. 5 UWE 492, 8 DXH 122. Alrighty, this is criminal conduct that the Ontario Police are openly engaging in with the people. This is what they're doing by helicopters. They're just standing around with their vehicle lights on, doing the exact same, engaging in the same exact criminal system. And this is the demonic activity they engage in as one. Alrighty, an Ontario Police vehicle engaging in surveillance, sitting in their vehicle as well. Let me get these minions over here engaged in surveillance. Directed light inside of the parking garage. License 7UUN 561, 8 PDC 329, 5 RRS 258, ZKB-274-A. And it is 6:10 p.m. And I believe this is the JT license plate, which I saw before already. Engaging in surveillance again with the Ontario Police on another day. They like to spend a lot of their time stalking. They're going to spend a lot of time in federal prison. TJ. It's 6:10 p.m. I'll show you what is impossible light activity. This is light that's appearing. This is a shadow of appearing. This is the sign, okay, that's appearing on the wall, and the sign is more like a square. You see that is more rectangular. It's an engineered light that's hitting the sign and creating shadows on the inside. This is impossible light, okay? You can see the bars. They're creating shadows over here. This is light that's being casted. This is engineered light. They are stalking and engaging in surveillance. Right now they are monitoring. They are intentionally walking in that engineered light. This is activity creation. These are license plates that I already read on my podcast. This is impossible light activity that is present for purposes of criminal monitoring. The Ontario Police are right here group stalking. That's Guerrero, that's going to federal prison. Medina, the one that I'm capturing. And this is what Satan does. They laugh as I capture more and more evidence, prosecuting them. Those are psychopaths. Monitoring while my panties are down, violent sex offenders. That impossible light is the evidence of their demon possession and criminal monitoring with communication devices. It's absolutely impossible light activity. That is impossible light activity. There is no light that's shooting horizontally onto surfaces like that. That's the pattern, though, of stalking with light by the demon-possessed. This is federal prison. I'm documenting all their license plates. This is impunity while they're plainly stalking, engaging in surveillance with the people. Satan that's looking in opposite direction while monitoring you and doing so in plain sight with the Ontario Police Department. Don't watch my property. That's what's wrong with you. You're going to federal prison. No, you're minions and you're engaging in criminal monitoring. You're going to federal prison. You're going to federal prison. Have fun. That's Satan. Crossing path and direct the light. All right, and so this is the maintenance of the fake sun. Again, this is where I'm at Ontario Town Square. At no time would the sun still be at this venue. It would now remain. I was literally here this morning while this same police department following me, stalking, terrorizing with helicopter. And now they're engaging in surveillance under a fake sun. I want you to look at that because this is a minion. This is P.O.C, this is a minion. And that directed light inside of a parking garage, he's monitoring. And it is, let's see, an operation of a communication device. This is a demon. That is badge number 14758, monitoring with the Ontario International Airport. This is the impossibility of that environment. This is a demon. Stalking with light activity is demonic. Directed light on the inside of a parking garage. This is the same parking garage where I stood this morning. The Ontario Police Department, you're disbanding them and they're going to federal prison. This is impunity. 7WJC 562, a group of demons that are threatening in your face. All right, the reason why they know my YouTube channel is because they know I'm documenting them. They know exactly who I am while they are following me day and night with helicopters, Satan. That's what you're doing. That's why you know who I am. You're going to federal prison. All right, that's Satan under a fake sun. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:13 p.m. and that they are monitoring right now in plain sight, operating with communication devices, obsessive stalking, criminal monitoring, violation of existing federal law. This is P.O.C. That's why you have the shape of the gate appearing in the depths of a parking garage. That's why you have light flat right reaching into the depths of a parking garage. This is impossible light. And the sun, big picture, I'm here. The sun is right here. This is not movement. They're stalking. And they're stalking in plain sight. So I want you to see no honor amongst minions. None. He's going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, showing you what is engineered light inside of the parking garage and these demons who you are listening to me document, engaging in, straight up and down criminal conduct, demonic activity right in your face. That's what group stalking is, an entity that's engaging in criminal activity, terrorism right in your face. And doing so with, I'll have a better day when I put you in federal prison. That's when it'll be done. All right, bye Satan. This is the entity that's engaging in what is group stalking and monitoring as I exit. Ovid Family Community Library is engaged in that. The fake sun is directly over these demons' heads while I'm showing you the fake sun and engineered light, direct evidence of that P.O.C. All right, it is currently 6:15 p.m. And I want to be clear, the one that I captured on video, that license plate, I want to make sure it's on my podcast. 7WJC 562, engaging in surveillance at the Ontario Town Square, group stalking and monitoring. This is state surveillance and terrorism that they're engaging in with the people of the state, facilitating criminal conduct, facilitating sexual violence. They are engaged in monitoring invasion of privacy as an entity while my panties are down in the bathroom. These demons that are monitoring and know exactly what I'm doing, engaging in terrorism inside of a private space, while they also know the fact that this American citizen is documenting it. And Satan's conduct, what you see on video, let me be clear, they don't find it funny as I prosecute them. They're very scared, but the psychopath starts laughing. That's what they do. They start laughing. Okay, that's the demonic conduct, that's the demon possession, and they're doing it. They can laugh all they want under the fake sun. They can laugh right into that federal prison because that's where they're going. And those are the same minions repeating that criminal system that is speaking to a prolonged term in federal prison, and they're already done with law enforcement. The Ontario Police Department, in and of itself, you're talking about ceasing to exist. That is the P.O.C. That's the Ontario International Airport engaging in what is criminal monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, just like they were this morning, while the Ontario Police Department was stalking by helicopter. Okay, even outside of capturing the fake sun in this impossible light inside of a parking garage, where these these demon-possessed police officers, which you're witnessing that demon possession through that demonic environment and that demonic conduct of stalking in helicopters and stalking, following everywhere I'm going. And then you're supposed to be ignorant of that, so Satan is wearing a police cap, and you're supposed to bow down to that. No, you don't have any authority, actually. And everything that you're doing pursuant to fictitious authority, you're going to pay for under federal law. All right, this is how that state surveillance works. And they're engaging in criminal monitoring and direct light under the fake sun with 8 MLM035, criminal surveillance. All right, so they want to sit around stalking, they're going to sit around in federal prison. 1500614, I'm shadows maintaining on both sides of my person while I'm reading these license plates. This is an ongoing sex offense that they will also be prosecuted for. 58000F2, 04828L3, 8PBA118, 5UNA905. And this is video that I captured moments ago after capturing the podcast and identifying those particular officers. This is, again, for lack of a better term, these are not actual officers. These are demons. They're literally playing dress up. This is Satan playing dress up because they are absolutely engaging in criminal conduct of the most reprehensible level. You are stalking me by helicopters, and then you're sitting outside where I remain all day long, using your vehicles, engaged in ongoing surveillance, okay, engaged in ongoing sexual predatory violence. And you're facilitating that criminal conduct amongst the people of the state, literally an infection to the public. 60 W.C. 601, that's what the Ontario Police Department is, and that's a matter of evidence. Because there's not going to be any back and forth with Satan in a court. That's what Satan relies on. So when an officer is stating that a target individual is crazy, because that target individual doesn't have documentation of what is very much stalking conduct and demented conduct by psychopaths, actually, who belong in a mental ward or federal prison, as opposed to some paranoid schizophrenic who unfortunately doesn't have the evidence to substantiate what is unprecedented criminal conduct that they remain subject to for no legitimate purpose, following around day and night in helicopter, and then sitting in plain sight stalking in a police vehicle. That's what the Ontario Police Department are doing. There's no need to be rude while I'm capturing your criminal activity. We could just cooperate and go on about our business. You do you, and I'm definitely going to do me. It is currently 6:23 p.m. Omnitrans, stalking with audible activity. This is a demon. You already know about Omnitrans. License 1234516, bus 1224. This is a Latino male. We're operating at 6:24 p.m. arriving directed light, just like you saw employee 3072. Directed light, they're monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, and that's a molestation. This is at Metro 102 Apartments at 6:25 p.m. I want to make sure that I get the license plate of this vehicle over here. Ontario Police that I documented. I need to make sure I picked it up on my podcast. I did capture images of this this demon-possessed officer, and I want to make sure that I documented the license plate because I did not catch it, so I need to make sure that I catch that. ROB3KKD. Metro 102. You got a demon making sure they're crossing path at the ingress and egress of Metro 102 Apartments. This is group stalking conduct, acting with the Ontario Police. License plate. It's also stalking with light conduct, 8 S.I.I.S 789. It's the creation of light activity, driving forward, then reversing, putting your foot on the brake while you're doing so. This variation of light activity, it's a method of flashing of light. This is the ongoing pattern of demons under the fake sun and direct light. 8 YZH 189, 8 RDW 070, 8 SDN 402, 8 MPG 911, 8 EVW 766, 7VG, 7GVT 366. Just pacing around. 8 YAE 423, pacing. 79418R1. 5 WSN 075, I believe. Yeah. Okay, Ontario Police's license plate 1510639. 7 PWA 561 98GN 351. 8 EVW 766. This is pacing. These are the people of the state, and they're monitoring while they're driving all around. They're pacing all around. The Ontario Police are monitoring with them with communication devices. They're creating activity. This is demonic conduct, and it's also criminal monitoring that the police are facilitating. It's 6:27 p.m. Take that. I'm going to take that as a threat. Was that a threat? You're going to kidnap me? Because that's what that is when you're engaged in surveillance. Were you here, or were you the one flying the helicopter over my head this morning in 2 videos that I documented? Oh, you wish you were doing that?
I wish I knew how to fly a helicopter.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the Ontario Police. All right. And the same night when I'm not sleeping at the museum, the Ontario Police Department flying over my head in helicopter.
Who are they?
The same one that you are right now. Badge number 20070, R. Guerrero, exercising fictitious authority under the law, threatening to engage in a kidnapping. That's that audible activity of that minion that is monitoring. All right. So the entity is following me. No, we're not talking. You're monitoring. You're monitoring, and I'm documenting, Satan. Okay, goodbye. You want to engage in threatening? You don't have any authority, but you want to engage in kidnapping.
That's rude. Honestly, that's rude.
This is audible activity. Anyway, this is Guerrero. I want to be clear. The substance of his audible activity is a threat. He's talking about you can't sleep at the museum. You're stalking at the museum. The basis of your knowledge is unlawful. You know exactly where I'm sleeping. You stole my vehicle. That's what the Ontario Police Department did when I was happily sleeping in that. All right, so I want to be clear. These are methods of harassment and terrorism. That was a threat by Arguedo, who's already going to federal prison. He poses another threat. Let me be clear. What he is stating, whether in jest or not, it's audible activity, all manner of a threat. I'm advocating on behalf of the ordinary target individual. Do not forget this. I remain subject to criminal monitoring. An ongoing sex offense is underway. These demons that are the people of state are pacing all around, and he is monitoring as well, while he is with a smile on his face stating, you can't sleep there, when we're referencing what is the museum, when I'm telling him everything, the basis of your knowledge is based on criminal conduct. While he is flying over my head on that same day where he's stating that with Medina at the museum, the entity, which is a matter of video documentation, following me while I'm sleeping at a different location in helicopter. All right, the entity engages in this audacious conduct, does it in plain sight, while I'm publishing it, putting on the internet, which the Ontario Police Department has admitted that they are aware of. That's what's legally relevant about that statement. You are aware of the fact that you're being documented. I will place you in federal prison for even longer for that. All right, license 7712205. This is Illinois, stalking with the Ontario Police, Arguedo, whose badge number I just recited. And what you also see are demons that immediately walk by. These are demons who, again, come out of the blue for purposes of crossing path. They're walking in engineered light as activity creation in real time as I use a different function on my phone, which is the camera. All right, but I want to document that. This is what Guerrero is talking about. And he is engaging in conduct as though we're having some friendly conversation, and we're not. This is a minion. This is a threat. All right, that's exactly what he is. That's exactly what he represents. This is law enforcement that is under the condition. This is a demon-possessed officer that is stalking obsessively, using helicopters to do so, and then also in plain sight as I walk outside of a venue, stalking obsessively. But I am also capturing what is the ongoing evidence surrounding their stalking conduct and their condition while they are stalking, and the ongoing undeniable fact that you are indeed stalking, while you're then also threatening, because that's exactly what Arguedo just stated. You're threatening to engage in a kidnapping. All right, because you're talking about what is a kidnapping while you already are stalking from place to place, wherever it is that I go, looking for an opportunity to engage in harassment. License 8AMC977, monitoring with the Ontario Police. All right, that's another blackface minion, group stalking and monitoring, engaging in black-on-black crime with the supposed enemy that are the demon-possessed police. They're minions acting together. 5XCP579, 8YCJ191. 7UFW743, 8NMH620, ZARK079, 0587083, 8XTU423, 7Y83641, 9AFH817, 8M26152, 4YKA620, LILZUES, 8KKR183, 5YEF436, 7YTW328, 8S23081, 15312K2, 8AJG199, 8SNP299, 82218H3, BV82V10 paper, 6CED031, 8LWZ192, BV68C23 paper, 7KVX998. These are sex offenders. They're monitoring and touching, 8ZLR239. These are the same demons molesting with directed light as I show you on video, and they're doing so with the police on behalf of the police, 8ZDS571. All right, those are the federal charges as I'm documenting license plate after license plate, engaging in terrorism and criminal monitoring with the police, 4YTU078. And the police are in relevant position surrounding with light activity, ongoing facilitation for the duration of the day after using helicopters and flying over my head this morning, as I documented on my podcast, which you can clearly hear both the video and the audio captures of that criminal conduct. And this is the same Ontario Police Department that engaged in assault and battery with the same entity that it is now still continuously group stalking with. That's also why all of those officers that you see and you hear they're going to federal prison. What they're attacking, and they're still ongoing obsessively stalking, as I also document with helicopters and these demon-possessed officers group stalking and monitoring in my face, showing their demon possession in my face. That's the significance of capturing that directed light. They're engaging in terrorism. 4XDV968, 5VIS 459, 6LYN 840, 4UCA 237. 6UXH383, 8VCB214, 5MNR353, 6UXB172, 8GYR413 in Andy's Burgers, criminal monitoring, facilitation of criminal monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, 5MNR353, 5WGW921, 5JVC929, 8FWP222. The Ontario International Airport following me to the B&G Plaza, now flying over the Center Ice Arena, which is the facilitating venue. They're monitoring with the Ontario Police. All right, license 6SWK380. 15240V1 7LBF 391. And that is the group stalker that is United Airlines. No, Frontier. Looks like Frontier Airlines. It's a white body with a blue tail. That's in the Ontario International Airport, flying where I'm at. They're not flying over Ontario Town Square anywhere. They're flying right here over Center Ice Skating Arena, right where I'm at. 6SDA 719, remaining on the south side of my person while the fake sun remains over me while I'm at the same B&G Plaza where I'm present at 7:50, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. BW02D09 paper, 6EBG248. These are demons, as are the Ontario police, as I show you the light activity where they are stalking. Engaging in criminal monitoring. 1749M handicap 3515 4P1 CC22F35 paper 8JAK277 8M26152 8UUY 895 6AYC 412 7TWU 831 17045D3 7MQD 991 8FAE 951 8TWL 116 molesting. License. These demons molesting, stalking with directed light, pathetic. License plate 8MXC 878, and they're doing so with the Ontario Police Department. BRBR4LF 7MQD 991, directed light across the venue of Oscar's Barber Shop. You can shut that business down based on that terrorism that they're engaging in. I doubt Oscar can afford to defend in a prosecution the size of which I'm going to bring against the entity while he's facilitating that with the Ontario Police Department. His facilitating venue and Metro 102, the B&G Plaza altogether, is facilitating criminal conduct and terrorism. Directed light flying all, which is a matter of video documentation as well. These demons that are driving in, 8MXC 878, a demon, and directed light moving all about Oscar's Barber Shop while they are in relevant position monitoring together, all with the Ontario Police. 04814L3, 8TTG211, 9ABT473, 7ZDZ684. ATY395, which is ultra personnel. 7HCM281. Maintaining presence in the path. You've got a group stalker over here in the shade. This is where the entity is maintaining light, and where there is no light, the entity is engaging what is molesting with directed light and or maintaining physical presence for purposes of crossing path monitoring conduct. 5SET574. It's 6:37 p.m. 8MPY 906, 7XYX 814, 6VNH 589. Group stalking, ongoing surveillance with the Ontario Police Department, and so is this minion 8ZLR 239. It's 6:38 p.m. All right, license 8GYR 413, 7NJG 092. Alrighty, these minions captured in images engaging in terrorism with 8ZLR239, who's at the opposite side of the parking lot. They're stalking with directed light, opening up S.I.I.S Liquor, a facilitating venue, directed light all across the parking spaces on the asphalt while those demons open and close the door. You can see the fake sun over the same street, which is Holt Boulevard. The fake sun is over the building of S.I.I.S Liquor early in the morning. All right, this is ongoing terrorism. The Ontario Police are monitoring with 8ZLR239, who's on surveillance cameras at S.I.I.S Liquor. License plate, and it's 6:39 p.m. License 8BET502. No, you're monitoring with the cops. Anything else you want to say? No. Okay, unless you want to touch me. All right, then you don't want to go. And you're still on surveillance cameras. I know that's what you're so concerned about, Satan. They got you in the parking lot as well, and his camera's right here. You're being documented at all places, in case you didn't know that. That's 8LZR239. Not calling the cops, you're stalking with the cops. That's the point, Satan. That's P.O.C. It is 6:10 p.m. No, 6:40 p.m. Okay, I'm capturing, first of all, what you're listening to is audible activity under the fake sun and engineered light at S.I.I.S Liquor, the B&G Plaza, Holt Boulevard. License 8NON948. They're molesting. They're group stalking at the S.I.I.S Liquor, where the entity is keeping the fake sun and aiming directed light, which is literally in between my legs, in the middle of the aisle. Just ridiculously impossible light. This is demonic. This is demonic obsessive stalking, which is personified through that light activity. There is no light inside of the S.I.I.S Liquor where the fake sun is over the S.I.I.S Liquor in the morning. Okay, this is common sense. Secondly, For example, where the fake sun is over me at the Chino Branch Library, there's not going to be any sunlight aiming into the S.I.I.S liquor in Ontario. It's also not beaming across the spread of the ground while a demon, however, is opening the door. That's where that happens. 8 SIR 541 is touching my thighs, touching my legs with directed light while they're stalking under the fake sun, while another demon is pacing in and out of the building. 8 BES 599, they're also a violent sex offender. This is the female that I'm showing you, group stalking over the ice cream while the fake sun is visible outside of the window. She is monitoring, and you can see the directed light on the ground while she's paying for that ice cream where she's group stalking. That's her form. That's literally what demons, oh, I'm buying something, and that's their form for stalking. There is no form for group stalking. In case you haven't known, I've shown you the P.O.C. There's no form for group stalking. There is no legal argument. There's no excuse. You are seeing how they are engaging in group stalking by presence. A purchase, in other words, is proof of presence. These African-American minions, violent sex offenders, touching all over me with directed light demons. License plate 484R47. That's a white C300 that the African-American male is driving with a Nevada plate. No plate on the front. So I want to make sure I notice that. And they're on the surveillance cameras of the S.I.I.S liquor. A third-party facilitating venue, 8NON948 and BN62L84. 8 BES 599, all of them engaged in criminal surveillance. The light activity that I'm capturing inside, the fake sun is remaining over the remaining over my head. While, for example, while I'm in Chino, California, and I've yet to get on the bus to come to Ontario. For example, the entity is keeping the fake sun even as I remain in Ontario. Getting off of the bus at 6:37 p.m. at the 4th sector at the intersection of D Street and Euclid, there's no sun that's going to be present. That's not the sun, period, that would be there, let alone it's very precise where you see that molestation as I captured in a video yesterday evening. That's not aiming inside of the S.I.I.S liquor, onto the floor, into that liquor store. These are demons surrounding. That's why directed light, just like you see on the bus, they're driving by, walking all around me, molesting my body. 8 NON 948, I'll prosecute them as sex offenders. 8 BES 599 and S.I.I.S liquor. B&G Plaza, the Ontario Police, who are engaging in a molestation by proxy, sex offender stalking. License plate DEXTER8. License 8UCD077, and that sex offender includes the Ontario International Airport. All right, they are using airplanes while the entity is molesting with directed light, ongoing obsessive stalking, following with planes where I go from place to place, not flying over Center Ice Arena now, flying over the B&G Plaza, the same B&G Plaza where the fake sun's over my head at 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, and here it is aiming light into the same venue, just like as I've already documented, where the entity is keeping that fake sun at 6:49 p.m. No, that would not be the sun across the same parking lot, the same structure, the same street remaining, and let alone while it's at some distance, even if you want to maintain that untenable position, that is, but I don't think everyone is witnessing what I have fully exposed, and it is unavoidable. But you have what is, I'll even entertain the untenable, that it's at some distance in, somewhere in over the beach setting, and it's also aiming into the depths of the S.I.I.S liquor on Hope Boulevard. No, that's not going on either. The entity's fake sun is reaching what would also be through necessarily objects in order to touch through those aisles inside of the S.I.I.S liquor. This is demonic. It has nothing to do with the placement of the fake sun. Understand, this is Satan that is literally surrounding me in the same way that Satan is surrounding me with its minions. This is Satan patrolling all around me. Satan that is literally maintaining guard over me as though it is stopping me from anything that I'm going to do in life. It's not. All right. But I am literally dragging it and exposing to the world what Satan is doing while it sought to engage in this system over me. That's what I'm doing. And Satan does it through people. That's Satan surrounding me physically. Satan surrounding with light, engineered light, while placing me under surveillance in violation of criminal law. And those demons, those sex offenders, include the Ontario Police. And I kid you not, every single last one you hear, they're going to sit in federal prison. While I'm documenting this light activity, that's exactly what they're doing, stalking. License 7WNP969. And you're understanding what is the mindset of a psychopath that would sit up and provide such evidence. In other words, demonstrate such impunity. License P494RO, the same demons that are flying over me night after night, day after day, in helicopters, the same police department. That's who. Satan, that's Satan. 3WPP587, 7ZCM162, 6MYG781, 8ZUA369, 6KPD052, 8WPD577. This is pacing. 7CXE126. This is ongoing terrorism that I'm proud. These are demons that are pacing, stalking. License 4RQM495, 5WXP004. And it is sponsored by the Ontario Police Department, 17045D3. BW4140A, I believe. And 17045D3, a violent sex offender. Satan dragging directed light while it drives off in that white pickup truck. All right, the signature of Satan. License plate 7TXR929. License XIMENNA 8GZN047. In the same way that you saw the Ontario Police Department stalking me by helicopter and this same entity physically attacking me, this is the same entity that's stalking. This is the Ontario Police in vehicle after vehicle. The law enforcement, the demon-possessed agencies engaging in state surveillance. It's group stalking. BN62L84, African American, group stalking, violent sex offender. A demon, 8 U.S.C 246, driving in and out is called pacing. All right, they're doing so under a fake sun and very, very vividly revealed when I'm at an address where I'm present in the morning. That is speaking to, again, this is where that demonic activity, which I've done a pretty thorough job of making clear to you. But when you're seeing it in this regard, and when I show you, for example, the same address where I'm present in the morning, you know exactly what you saw. For example, 7:30 in the morning, and here it is at 6:52 in the evening. That's when you're looking at what is very compelling evidence of what is demonic, the ongoing impossibility with regard, which is a reference to the demonic itself, the impossibility, the impossible light activity, the impossible placement of that light source, the ongoing focus of me, which is Satan that is stalking somebody. And the reason why they're stalking me is because I am the exception to what are a bunch of demons, and that is no exaggeration. This is the entity that is focused on one whom the entity cannot touch. What do? They engage in physical violence. I'll hold you accountable under federal law for that, though. But you're talking about what is frustration because you cannot touch me. You cannot slow down this prosecution. You cannot in any way silence me from doing so. Anything that you do, literally, I am literally policing Satan, because everything and anything that they do is going to be used against them, literally, while I am enforcing the law that they're in violation of and creating law that they're literally disregarding. It is currently 6:53 p.m. and that's the Ontario Police, who I named by badge. 6:53 p.m. All right, and those police officers you see group stalking outside of the Open Family Community Library, you see that directed light inside of that parking garage? Well, they're outside of that parking garage, demons creating flashing light. That's the same Ontario Police Department following me by helicopter, where they're talking about, oh, that's her. Like, you don't know, you know exactly who I am. Those are psychopaths. Those are minions of Satan, the Ontario Police, who I documented on my podcast. Another bunch who are going to federal prison. And let me point out something. The entity is flying over by helicopter, not only because it's a stalker, all right, as I've shown, but because I'm over here in the shade. All right, that's directed light. That's not sunlight. Understand what the entity, this is Satan that is surrounding me with engineered light. That's not sunlight. I'm here in the morning. The sun would not be in any position remaining at the same location and creating this any sort of light activity whatsoever. That's directed light, where the demon-possessed Ontario Police are group stalking. This is a third party. This is impunity, federal prison, BW02D09. And this is the fake sun over here. All right, remaining over the Metro 102 apartments. Pay attention. I took a picture of this morning at the Lemon and Hope Boulevard intersection, where these demons were driving by, and as I was pointing out, directed light coming from the back of their vehicles, pointing forward while I was on that particular side of the street. Demons that are stalking. 8M26152. Demons, absolute demons. Look at the evidence of the directed light. You're witnessing demon possession. All right, look at the evidence of what is the fake sun over the same apartment building, based on where I'm at, keeping that fake sun in alignment with me. This is how you surround the entity with evidence. When you're looking at, you're just following around, and as I literally use what the entity is doing against it, stalking me. So you're talking about going around the same venue on the opposite side, because you keep your fake sun on a specific side of my person at a certain time of the day. So the same apartment building, you're seeing the same position, let alone it's the same venue. The sun would never be on the opposite side of the same street. That's Metro 102, that's Shiro's Liquor, okay? This is the pattern of conduct. The Ontario Police Department are going to federal prison, and they know that. You're talking about what is going to federal prison for a long time, while they are engaged in ongoing clear threatening conduct, physically attacking me, stalking as I exit out the Open Family Community Library, clearly revealing their demon possession, and facilitating criminal conduct amongst the people of the state. That's what this is. All right? That's P.O.C. It is currently 6:55 p.m. This is the B&G Plaza. Alrighty, sex offenders that are molesting. All right, license 6AWS051. This is a Latino company. I was about to say Latino company. A Latino couple sitting inside of a vehicle with that license plate. They're stalking me, and they're demons that are stalking me. While I'm standing at the sidewalk, I'm still at the same location where the Ontario Police just flew over me by helicopter. I'm the ongoing obsession of the Ontario Police Department. Everything that they're doing in front of the Open Family Community Library is about me. They are literally engaged in unlawful operation of their communication devices, the fake sun and directed light. I captured all of that in that video. It is the same address, the same location where the fake sun is over me this morning, the same location where the Ontario Police Department was flying, zigzagging over my head in a helicopter. That Ontario Police Department is stalking via this demon, 6AWS051, engaging in terrorism, a violent sex offender that's touching me at a distance while I'm standing in the shade, and somehow light is touching on me. That's the sex offender that is Satan. You're going to prosecute Satan for touching you at all. Okay, has no right to violate your person, but this is what Satan engages in. 8MPY906 is a sex offender as well, monitoring together with this demon, pacing around together. You're fully engaged in that sexual violence. They're both monitoring with the Ontario Police Department, which is also not only grounds of being placed into a mental institution while the demon possessed engaged in this sort of terrorism of an American citizen. It is also grounds of federal prison. All right, monitoring on behalf of the police. It is currently 7:02 p.m. So I just want to make sure I document that. And those demons are captured in still images. And if they are not natural born citizens, you deport such demon possessed minions out of this country. We don't need any more of those infected diseases remaining. All right. This one also license plate 04814L3. That's a Latino male wearing a blue t-shirt. Focused on me is stalking. That, by the way, that's all that these demons are doing in directed light. I'm showing you what is an ongoing population of engaging in this satanic conduct, the preoccupation with those that are not of that same mutual condition, and speaking to what is actually revealing what is their no longer a covert system. Satan not wanting you to know that Satan is prowling around you, focused on you, stalking and placing you under surveillance. Oh, but now that's known. License 7SLT195. License 7MQD991, 8ZRG496. Oscar's also a sex offender. All right, while he's in there cutting hair and every minion in there with him, he's engaging in what is a sex offense, molesting on my person, creating audible activity while also molesting. This is license. Let me get this license plate. That's a demon that's parked in a spot using their horn for no reason. That's audible activity. That's the reason. Okay. 8YFC345 is that demon. That's an African American from Oscar's barbershop. While you're listening to me prosecute them. All right, that's why he's sounding audible activity. That's a show of hostility by a demon who's a violent sex offender. All right, there it's engaged in that ongoing molestation. License LABEAR. LARBEAR. Oh no, that's not an African American male. That's a fat-faced Latino with a lot of facial hair. He's a sweaty sex offending minion. License 5NNU125, 8RYV360, CB71G74 paper. These license plates are already read. These are demons pacing around at Andy's Burgers. 703. They're all monitoring with the Ontario Police. They just flew over my head by helicopter. You're talking about what is very easily federal prison. All right. This is how you're going to deal with group stalking. It's a cockroach issue. 8LCL018, CD13E18 paper. 7RQD082, 7VIR943, 7BSJ081. Everybody flipping burgers inside of Andy's Burgers. They're engaged in criminal monitoring with the Ontario Police. 7ZUD096. 6UQF435. And these are demons that are pacing. Their vehicles are methods of creating light. They're pacing all around. It's a conduct of psychopaths. Satan is a very, very heavily demented psychopath. 8LCL018. Alrighty, it is currently 7:04 p.m. This is criminal monitoring by the people of the state while I'm at the B&G Plaza. They're all under the fake sun in direct light. It's P.O.C. All right, license 8MBP067. I think I read those. Let me make sure I get these demons in the drive-thru. License 7WEM126, 8XLD271. Directed light while you're sitting in a drive-thru. You're understanding what they're doing. It's stalking. It's not about ordering a burger from Andy's Burgers. That's why the fake sun and directed light is there. You're understanding the comprehensive system of group stalking. This is the presence of the Ontario Police while I'm in the city of Ontario, maintaining ongoing surveillance around me. Demons that are pacing. 8KVY177, 8URT130, 5PBG533. Alrighty, I want to make sure I get all these license plates. 46296K2, 8ZKS931. Got that one already. I think I read that one. 7RYK702 and 6BPD004. 5WGW921. See. Oh, and while I'm standing at the drive-thru, I took a picture that you see what is an impossible occurrence, prefacing what is the pattern of conduct that's underway as opposed to anything normal that's going on amongst what is revealed. Again, the fact that these are demons, the fact that this is criminal monitoring, and I'm showing what's the fake sun while I'm standing near the drive-thru while these demons are, this is actually pacing that's occurring while they're sitting in relevant position at a drive-thru. You also have a big hint when the police are stalking by helicopter. CD13F70 paper, ATDY546. monitoring with their communication devices and directed light while they're driving through the drive-through. That's also how you know this is group stalking, and they're a bunch of demons. License, that's conduct that's separate from what is the placement of the fake sun. It's not because the fake sun is here. These are demons that are stalking with light. 8ZRG496. 8XLD271. These are the same demons that are beside the bus when I'm on it, and I'm showing you video of directed light moving across the roof of the bus. These are these demons sitting in a drive-through doing the exact same thing. Every single last one of them easily documented for purposes of federal prison. This is how the Ontario Police Department is maintaining close presence around me right now. Molesting and stalking with communication devices. Federal law in violation while they're engaging in that. It is currently 7:09 p.m. Alrighty, 7:10 p.m. You're going to want to look at what is directed light that's appearing in what is the shade and on the wall of Andy's Burgers while demons are around me in that directed light. This is directed light that's, I guess, moving toward the front of the vehicle again while they are driving, and the fake sun is hitting the back of the vehicle while they're in the drive-thru. I guess that's how that's happening. It's demonic activity. 8RYV360, demonic activity that you are witnessing with your eyes, as you can see that impossible light activity on that building of Andy's Burgers where the fake sun is behind the building. That's not sunlight, this is covered by shade. That directed light is appearing while a vehicle is by, so this is again that entity that's engaging what is molesting with directed light and light as though sunlight ricochets off of your vehicle and then back onto the wall next to you. That's not sunlight, and these are demons that are manifesting light. It has nothing to do with that. They engage in this conduct around me. All right, that's the mark of demon possession. They do it by proxy. The demons that are the Ontario police are monitoring with them. You're already talking about sitting in a drive-thru in relevant position, monitoring on your communication device with the police who are engaging in what is group stalking with them together, who are also, again, outside of the library, under the fake sun over the same parking garage, where the entity is keeping that light source and directed light is inside of that parking garage. They're monitoring together with light activity, using those police vehicles, demonic activity underway, using the resources of a police department. That's how literally disgusting. This is what you're understanding what Satan is doing while it's literally playing costume, playing dress up. All right, in positions that Satan has no business in and Satan shall be removed from. 8WGN394. Metro 102 Apartments, facilitating light activity. License plate 68YC412, molesting my person with directed light, engaging in terrorism, and keeping minor children in the vehicle while doing so. Engaging in criminal conduct with the police. Okay? A sex offender engaging in ongoing, you're focused on me, you're stalking. You are present to engage in criminal monitoring, and you're dragging around little kids and exposing them to that environment, threatening their safety as well, while you are doing so, threatening the life of an American citizen, who you also know is documenting. All right, that's speaking to what is a psychopath. That is also demonstrating an unfit status to maintain to maintain custody of children. This is what the people of the state are doing, the demon possessed, in positions that they have no business in, posing threats to the lives of those who they affect, who they are around, and this is making that manifest. Okay, this ongoing system, as I'm showing you what they're doing, and they're doing it with children. They're doing it including children. They're doing it exposing children to that, regardless of the fact that these demon possessed children, many of them are of that condition. That's not what you're worried about. You're worried about what is that corruption, that delinquency. Sorry, that's me with a cup of ice. So I don't want to pick that up on the mic. Sorry. The delinquency and ongoing corruption of children while you're engaging in what is this criminal conduct with police who are stalking somebody by helicopter, and you're sitting around pacing all around them together with the police, and you're driving kids around while you're doing that. That's your priorities in life. License 8YXV112. That's directly relevant to the way in which you're going to prosecute. Engage in unlawful operation of their communication device, clearly threatening, clearly engaging in criminal surveillance. This is what the people of the state are always doing. You see them casually stalking, engaging in surveillance while the Ontario police fly right over my head this morning, just sitting around stalking in plain sight, threatening your life in plain sight, physically attacking you on behalf of that same police department. All right, acting with impunity. This is exactly the grounds of federal prison. All right. The entity is engaging in this at 7:13 p.m. where the fake sun has remained at the Ovid Family Community Library. At no time is it anywhere in the city of Chino, in any position where it's seen through the windows of the Chino Branch Library and over the Chino Branch parking lot and over my head while I'm leaving that venue, getting on the bus, while also remaining stationary all day long at the Ovid Family Community Library, the Ontario Town Square. They are stalking under a fake sun. That is the demon-possessed Ontario Police and the people of the state. 8MBP067. And this stalking conduct, stalking in a helicopter, that is demonic activity. Understand that level of demented, obsessive stalking which the Ontario police demonstrate. While they are standing outside using their police vehicles, you are witnessing obsessive stalking by demons and literally playing dress up. That's what they're doing, wearing badges. Satan is playing dress up. They are not actual police officers with any authority under the law. Their criminal conduct is fully revealed, actually. And they are literally playing dress up. They are feigning the part and doing so literally waiting for the expiration date, and they're going to be prosecuted for that. They're going to be prosecuted for that. 54360W1, 7RQD082. When you are engaging in that sort of, the entity followed me to the Ontario Town Square from the museum, stalking by video at the museum overnight, stalking at the Ontario Town Square by helicopter, follows me from the Ontario Town Square, follows me, flies over my head right now at the B&G Plaza. The Ontario Police shamelessly stalking all day long. 8TBX 949. That is understanding what is the threat by the demon-possessed police agency, who knows that it's surrounded with evidence. In other words, knows that it's defeated. And what is that agency's resort? What do they resort to? Engaging in more criminal conduct. There is no argument in any court that would ever represent or be capable of maintaining any sort of tenable position in support of that corrupt agency. And they are clearly demonstrating that. There is nothing in order to substantiate anything. You cannot make legitimate anything that they're doing, and even their conduct, while it appears as though you're stalking, it appears as though you're engaging in something which is highly inappropriate, and you're continuously engaging in that. And I'm going to go even further with that. It's not just that. They're monitoring. They are demons who are revealed, okay, and they're monitoring me while they are demons doing so. Their condition, which is not a secret, their criminal conduct, which is revealed, and they're also engaging in more of it while their entire criminal operation is fully revealed, fully exposed. That is the criminal that are the Ontario Police. They are disgusting. They are reprehensible, disgusting creatures. And their attitude, which this is what you're going to remember in federal court, because they don't have a legal argument. They don't have a legitimate leg to stand on. And there is nothing that they can say, because their criminal conduct was documented day in and day out, and their attitude from the beginning and continuously, while I'm capturing again another video of the Ontario Police flying over my head by helicopter, while they're standing in my face creating light activity. This is demonic activity. What they're doing is not a mystery. It's not some ongoing conspiracy theory. They're engaging in demonic conduct. It's criminal monitoring. They know that I have exposed that, and I'm documenting it, and I'm going to prosecute you pursuant to what is law created for that ongoing satanic system. And their attitude is one to engage in more of the same. Those are criminals you deal with. Those are criminals you deal with. Those are not police officers. Those are criminals. And they are revealing it themselves. I told you what their issue is. I showed you as they engage in it, and I documented it. They are also showing you while I continuously document, and they know that they've been found out. They know it. They know it. Okay? That's why like I told you, they're going to federal prison. They're not getting out. Union Pacific monitoring, engaging in ongoing harassment, assault and battery, terrorism, sexual violence with the Ontario Police. That's the use of a train. Union Pacific going westbound. License 861, hold on. License plate 86180Z2. These are demons that are entirely pathetic in their entire existence, stalking me, following me around, because they're inferior. 5CVR918. They're inferior to one, and that is myself, and this is not ego. This is the reality. This is the reality of Satan, and you need to understand it about Satan as well, because Satan is inferior to you. That's why Satan is stalking you, because it is inferior to you and fearful of the fact that you may know the truth and know who you are. That's what Satan is scared of, and that's why you're stalking me. That's why you're stalking me. All right, so you're talking about Satan that's wearing a police badge? That doesn't make Satan scary. Satan wearing a police badge does not make Satan scary, and Satan is counting on the fact that you're going to be scared if it's touting around a police badge. That's not the case. You're going to throw Satan where it belongs, in a cage. And these Ontario police, they're going into mental institutions. They are going to federal prison. They are going to be forever removed from anything remotely having to do with law enforcement. They will never have anything, and they will be plagued with what is a very serious sex offense on their record. They're violent sex offenders. All right, they're engaged in terrorism. I mean, you're talking about what is a ginormous criminal record, which they have created themselves. They created it themselves. You're talking about what does Satan do? Satan goes in more while you expose what Satan wants to keep a secret. It's not a secret. And I'm showing what is, again, your attitude toward that, K205GO. Your attitude toward that is to engage in more of it while you are exposed, engaging in that criminal conduct. I want to document the Ontario Police engaging in surveillance. This is the Ontario Police that is stalking me by helicopter, engaging in surveillance at the museum where they know that I'm sleeping, and engaging in what is that ongoing harassment. This is surveillance conduct. That's what they're doing under the fake sun indirect light with the people of the state. So I'm going to document that right now. They're at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. It is 7:19 p.m. It's important for you to know the ongoing obsessive stalking by an entire police agency, which I am bringing down by myself. All right, I'm revealing them and I'm prosecuting them. And you can be as obtuse to that as much as you want, because that's what they are. They're a bunch of defiant demons but that defiance is going to be used against them as well. They're engaging in state surveillance. That's what they're doing, sitting at the museum where they know that I'm sleeping, following me, stalking, flying over me all night by helicopter. So vehicle 1591757, hold on, 1591757, and that's the Ontario International Airport to be prosecuted for engaging in criminal monitoring with the Ontario Police. Flying over my head at the museum, that is following me from the Ontario Town Square to the B&G Plaza to the museum. Remaining on the south side of my person. It is 7:19 p.m. The Ontario Police Department, license 1591757. This is criminal surveillance. This is a Caucasian female, vehicle 1007, where the Ontario Police is following me in hundreds of videos flying over my head at the Ontario Museum, engaging in surveillance. This is supposed to be a threat. This is also a demon. This is the same property where I'm showing you at nightfall. My shadow is literally lined up on the ground. She's stalking in directed light and under the fake sun. The train is a means of audible activity. Pay attention, that's directed light on the ground. She is monitoring in violation of federal law and communicating a threat. While you look entertained, you're the one stalking me, and I'm going to document you. And so this is criminal conduct by the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department. Following from place to place, by the way. Following from place to place. This is criminal surveillance. They follow me everywhere that I sleep. They are in what is the specific environment. That's not sunlight, it's engineered light. This is a demon. Engaging in facilitation, that's a demon. Crossing path monitoring with this demon. With Union Pacific. That's how Union Pacific is going to be prosecuted. This is P.O.C. by the Ontario Police flying over my head just down there on the opposite side. What do you think this demon is doing? She's stalking. She's a stalker. And she's a demon possessed one. You want to provide your badge number while you're at it? You want to stalk in plain sight. You want to give me your badge number? It doesn't matter. And that's what you think group stock is going to be prosecuted on? It's not. I've surrounded you with evidence, Satan. That's not a legal argument. So what's your badge number? You are a public servant while you're engaged in criminal conduct. What is it?
I'm here at this location.
I know exactly where you're at. Do you want to provide your badge number? Oh, you're not? You're not proud to serve? You're engaging in absolutely lawful conduct, right? Oh, so what's your badge number? What's your badge number? No, it's not a matter. That's why we're not going to debate Satan. This is a matter of evidence that you don't abide by the law.
You can go ahead and continue on your way, dear, okay?
No, I can document you. You're B. Palmer.
That's
And
right.
thank you. You don't have to. I'll read it. 1999. 19999. Okay, that's P.O.C. Since you don't want to say it. Was that hard?
No, but you can read too,
Okay.
obviously, so you're doing
I can read very well, and I can prosecute as well. Or that's what I can do. This is relevant positioning. This is a threat. This is a demon that's bearing weapons while she's stalking. All right, license 5FZZ811. This is the Ontario International Airport flying directly over me, which I captured in images moments earlier. Flying right over me on the side of the museum where I am seated. Not on the south side, they're flying more north where I'm seated right over the bench where I'm also showing you my shadows that are on both sides of my person. I'm also taking a picture of my luggage carrier so you can see that. It has double shadows. This is where the Ontario International Airport is crossing path with audible activity and directed light. That's the pattern of conduct. This is demonic activity that the Ontario International Airport's engaging in. This is terrorism on its face while they are stalking me with commercial airline planes. It is also terrorism in substance while the Ontario International Airport's engaged in demonic conduct, criminal monitoring, and facilitating that, doing it with the Ontario Police Department, doing it with and as the people of the state of California. The fake moon is directly over my head at the same location where the fake sun is over my head at the same property as well. It is currently 9:17 p.m. The Ontario International Airport, again, documenting, as I remain here, sexual molestation. This is Satan that's touching on my person, touching on my face as well, engaging in what is harassment while I uploaded video documentation of the P.O.C. as I was subject to exiting the Ovid Family Community Library. That's the Ontario Police following me as I exit. Remaining engaged in surveillance at the library, following me to the B&G Plaza, stalking, flying over my head by helicopter, following me to the museum where the entity is engaged in ongoing stalking at the museum, but I'm documenting what is a Caucasian female. And on video, this is the Ontario Police engaging in terrorism, representing an ongoing threat while they're following me to the museum where they are stalking me, where they know very well that I'm sleeping. That's documented on video and it is uploaded to the Google Drive. That is accessible on my website. It is currently 9:18 p.m. and while the entity is uploading, while I'm uploading, okay, the entity is molesting me. That's the Ontario International Airport. That's a venue. That's the people of the state, the sex offender, and I will prosecute accordingly. They are monitoring me and doing so while the entity is molesting me. This is a sex offense that the entity is engaging in. Omnitrans also molesting me, okay, engaging in what is molestation with the people of the state who are engaging in ongoing patrol and conduct. So I want to document that as well. This is also a molestation while I'm showing you my shadow that is literally flip-flopped on both sides of my person, which is what I reminded you about while I'm documenting the Ontario police on the backside of the museum, where she's engaged in surveillance, representing a threat, waiting for me to arrive, communicating that threat. Okay, so that's the same property where I've documented many times the entity stalking at nightfall, and my shadow is literally like have you ever seen the gingerbread man, where you cut out the gingerbread man and you stretch out the paper, and you'll see the gingerbread attached in a line. If you fold construction paper for it, this is something you would do like in elementary school. You fold construction paper and then you cut out the shape of like a gingerbread man, and then you want to fold it and you have the gingerbread man like 10 times. My shadow in a line, I've documented this on more than one occasion. That is where they are engaging in stalking. That is where she is engaging in what is waiting for me to arrive. That is where that demon that is bearing weapons is stalking in the path, is aware of the fact that I'm documenting the stalking conduct by the Ontario police, and is literally engaging in that outward threat with that intent to threat, also reasonably construed as a threat, at that same property where that light activity is documented. She's also doing so, as I'm capturing in video, in direct light, which is covering all over the grounds of the museum. The entity's keeping the fake sun, and a demon is walking across the street of Emporia, crossing path, monitoring with that officer, who I am documenting on video while she's threatening me. So I'm going to document that threat that she's posing as a demon who is stalking me from place to place to place. And as I sit at the bench, leaving that officer's presence physically, they are still stalking me, so they're still in my presence. The Ontario police have an ongoing issue of obsession with me, and that's because they serve Satan, all right? And Satan is obsessed with me because Satan cannot have me. I will never serve Satan, and that's what the problem is with Satan. And also Satan is very scared of me because of that. But I want to be clear, I'm still seated at the same bench, and this is that same light activity that I was referencing in that video while the Ontario police engage in what is stalking, following to the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. And when you're engaged in state surveillance, and this is the absence of any logical or legally relevant argument, which is what this officer begins to utter, "Oh, I was here before you." This is what the entity is engaging in. Group stalking is maintaining presence all around, okay? The stalker is going before you, behind you, all around you, in a specific environment, and if that's what Satan is relying upon, like I already stated, you are woefully unprepared for what is the legal prosecution of group stalking and monitoring. But that's what she's stating, and I was just reminding her, sorry, if that's what you're relying on, you're stalking day and night by helicopter, all right? And with the Ontario International Airport, concentrating where I am seated, that is showing the ongoing obsessed stalker that are the minions molesting me, okay? That's the sex offender, the Ontario International Airport. This is grounds of ceasing to exist. That's demonic, what you hear. In the same way that you hear the train activity, this is Satan that's listening in real time. My audience are the demons that are listening to me prosecute, expose, and document it. That's the inferior entity. That's a sex offender, okay? It wants to touch all over me, follow me everywhere, okay? And is utterly inferior in every regard. That's why you're stalking me. Anyway, it's currently 9:22 p.m. and that is the ongoing demonic activity that the people have been engaged in, the ongoing sex offense. Every third-party license plate that I documented, I want to be clear with regard to federal law and the prosecution and unveiling this system to the federal government that is genuinely ignorant about what the entity is doing, because there are federal government actors engaging in this terrorism and state surveillance today. Okay, so public corruption is at the federal level. The United States Postal Service demonstrates that as well. But nonetheless, you're talking about what is federal prison. Okay, and they are engaged in an ongoing sex offense while they are still stalking and doing so in that ongoing manner. The entity is surrounding and monitoring in real time while I am documenting and prosecuting it. They're literally witnessing that prosecution, and that sex offender continuously engages in stalking till the very end, until you toss them into mental institutions, which is showing that they belong there. That conduct is literally illustrative of that's exactly where you belong. That's what your conduct is literally leading you to. This is Satan. All I'm doing is document. I'm showing you what the entity's been engaged in, and I'm showing you how you prosecute. I am also prescribing. This is necessarily how you are treating such a psychopath that you were ignorant of with regard to. Now you're witnessing. It's unveiled. It's before your eyes. This is how you are treating this psychopath that's threatening the lives of American citizens. They are the ones that belong in mental institutions. And while they continuously wage that threat, which the Ontario Police Department vividly illustrate as well, follow me from place to place to place, and you know you're defeated with evidence. You know it. You belong in federal prison. You belong in a mental institution. That conduct is probative of it. It is clearly demonstrative of it. All right, it is currently 9:23 p.m. and this is P.O.C. All right, this psychopath, sex offender, stalking, license 7DYW416, driving down in transit with their hazard lights on while they know I'm documenting. A demon, Satan engages in flashing their lights, creating light activity. For example, they'll drive by and then they'll start pressing on their brakes, which is light activity, while they know I'm literally reciting their license plate or I'm fixing my eyes on their license plate. Satan is very sensitive to what I'm doing because Satan is a stalker. Satan knows what I'm doing on my phone, while those demons at Chino Branch Library were talking about, oh, I saw it. Satan was lying. They know exactly what I'm doing, and they're scared to death, and they should, because all three of those minions at the Chino Branch Library are going to federal prison. And this documentation today is speaking to the criminal conduct that I was subject to inside of that venue, while those demons were doing so with children that they were claiming they were concerned about being documented. If you don't want to be documented engaging in what is criminally monitoring with the police, demonic activity, which is terrorism, then don't bring your children engaging in that criminal activity. That's a psychopath. That's a psychopath. Okay, and that's exactly what they were doing. This criminal conduct is what they were engaging in. It is currently 9:24 p.m. This is P.O.C. Exactly what all of those demons of the Ontario Police Department were engaging in, including the one sitting in the vehicle talking about she was there before me. She's stalking. She's going to federal prison. Just adding that onto the list. By the way, all they're doing is flying out of view. They were just flying in circles while they're listening to me document on my podcast, flying under what is the fake moon. Pay attention. This morning I was at that waterfall taking a picture of the fake sun, which was over the same position over me. This is the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. This is where the Ontario International Airport is using airplanes flying over me. Remember, when I'm sleeping on the grounds of the museum, I'm on the opposite side of the property. That's where they're concentrating plane activity. I'm just showing you what I've already established. Clear stalking conduct under the specific environment in what is directed light, shadows on both sides. This is a sex offense. Impossible light, while the demon possessed are following around in helicopters, moving directed light across here. That's the demon possessed Ontario Police. All right, City of Ontario, demon possessed, the municipality, state surveillance, stalking with the Ontario Police. They're going to federal prison. They're on video. Captured that. She's stalking in the back parking lot. That's called crossing the path. That's a municipality engaged in criminal summoning. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:29 p.m. and that's the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department, who you see, Guerrero and the rest in front of me at the Ovid Family Community Library, while directed light is inside of that parking garage, engaging in criminal surveillance, following me from place to place. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, capturing another video. You can see on the video where the City of Ontario is monitoring group stalking terrorism with the Ontario Police Department, parking in a van at the property. And you can see this on video. The Ontario Police is flying in circles and they are engaging in surveillance on the property in directed light. It is currently 9:29 p.m. I want you to listen to that. I'm going to capture their images. Alrighty, that's the Ontario Police flying in circles while they're in operation of communication devices in relevant position. This is the City of Ontario. Directed light while this demon opens the door. Satan always finds it funny when you document their criminal conduct. This is Earl. He's going to federal prison. And Edgar. Okay? You guys engaging in surveillance? Is it entertaining?
Yeah, we like surveillance.
Oh, you do? I'm glad. That's an admission. That's audible activity. The Ontario Police Department flying in circles. Light activity license 1515458.
Like it?
You like federal prison?
Well, I've never been there.
Oh, you're going. This is the Ontario Police Department flying in circles, and they're just holding their phone. Edgar and Earl. You guys gonna do some repair at the museum at 9:30 p.m.? No? Just standing around with multiple shadows at nightfall while the Ontario Police flies in circles? What's going on, Edgar and Earl? Little group stalking? Anything else? Bye, minions. Bye. That's P.O.C. That's terrorism. That's the municipality. Those are demons, okay? And they're representing the Ontario Police Department. Entering into the museum is criminal surveillance. So that's what they're doing. The museum's not open right now, right? It doesn't even open until, I think, Sunday. All right? That's P.O.C. Using their access to the buildings to engage in criminal surveillance. That's what they're doing. This is the pattern of conduct. That's helicopter activity. Again, that's Edgar and Earl Earl is the African American. He's got an accent. If he's not a natural born citizen, you deport those type of minions out of the country. Driving a City of Ontario vehicle, license 1515458, and the Ontario police are flying in circles. This is demonic. You're also looking at the light activity. Their shadows are crisscrossing. This is demonic activity. This is criminal surveillance. And what they do, this is what they do during the day and at night. When I'm at the museum sleeping, they're accessing the venue. This is ongoing obsessive stalking. Do not think for 1 second that they're not maintaining people inside of the museum to maintain ongoing surveillance with the police. In addition to the people of the state that, as I've shown you, stalking on the grounds of the museum, and that's what the people of the state are doing. They're stalking in directed light, the specific environment. And that's the Ontario police who are engaged in criminal summoning at B&G Plaza, where Ed and Earl, who you see in relevant position with their phones, the police are over there with their lights on. It's criminal summoning. I captured clearly their images. They are going to federal prison. That's the City of Ontario engaging in a pattern of criminal summoning, criminal surveillance. Literally, the Ontario police are flying in circles over here. This is very, very demonic, and it's also criminal. This is criminal monitoring. They're engaging in what is criminal summoning with the Ontario police who are in relevant position. I believe I want to make sure I'm looking at this correctly. Hold on. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shadows. I've captured this in video before at this same Ontario Museum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shadows. This is directed light. That's a sex offense that Earl and Edgar are going to be prosecuted for, a violent sex offense. Touching all over my body, all right, while they're demons stalking with the Ontario police who are providing evidence against them, okay, and every other third party that I already documented. Okay, no, I don't see police lights. Those are like building lights on the B&G Plaza. The entity is engaging in criminal monitoring with the Ontario police who's flying around in circles. And all they did was walk to the door, and then they're like, okay, we're going to check that now while they're on the phone. They walk back to their vehicle, and they're walking back to the door. These are demons that are pacing. Understand what they're doing. They're not going anywhere. They're monitoring me. They're accessing the museum that is not open. They're accessing the museum for purposes of relevant positioning. Clearly, the Ontario police are flying in circles. This is what the municipality engages in, how they engage in state surveillance. That's P.O.C. Earl and Edgar, City of Ontario. It is currently 9:34 p.m. Understand, Earl and Edgar, that's the Ontario Police Department. They are one and the same, vicarious and direct conduct. That is 9:34 p.m. The Ontario International Airport, flying a plane right here where the Ontario police are flying circles over me, and the City of Ontario has entered the museum engaging in surveillance with the Ontario police in the Ontario Airport, flying directly over my head. The same location where I'm showing you my shadows on both sides of me. This is the entity. These are demons flying commercial airline planes over me. This is, again, attributed to what is the prosecution of the people of the state. The state facilitating venue, specifically, actually, the Ontario International Airport. The entity literally engaged in, as I opened up my podcast app and began to upload my podcast, the demons of the Ontario police, that's what they were doing this morning. Understand, while I'm documenting, for example, talking about the fake sun that's over in Chino, California, seeking to be a distraction when it's not. You're incriminating it's not. There is no way to be a distraction from documented criminal conduct. You are further corroborating what are the allegations that I have already unilaterally established. The entity is engaging in the same exact conduct engaged in today at the Ontario Town Square, and does so literally incriminating Edgar and Earl, whom I don't need any help. They're in directed light. They are at the venue vicariously on behalf of the same demon-possessed police department who's engaged in a routine pattern of stalking by helicopter. They are doing so while the police are flying over me in circles. And they are pacing back and forth while I'm speaking to the line of shadows in front of me. And so they're engaging in surveillance inside of the museum. This is the municipality using its access, using its position, in other words, to engage in what is state surveillance, criminal monitoring, and terrorism. Those two are going to federal prison. The African American, again, he has an accent, maybe some foreigner, and long dreads. And the other one is Edgar. He appears to be about maybe 5'6" years old, a Latino, 5'6" in height, a Latino male. They are clearly captured in images. They have crisscrossing shadows. This is directed light. These are demons. They are also demons acting in accord with the demons that are the Ontario police, pacing also, flying in circles, creating that audible activity, which you can hear in the podcast. I'm also capturing images of what is relevant positioning. Okay, it is currently 9:42 p.m. This is the entity that's engaging in what is a fictitious exercise of authority under the law. These are clear, glaring, under a clear sight. There is no covert matter of public corruption. It is that which is revealed in plain form. And this is criminal conduct which the entity is engaging in with just outright impunity, knowing that they are shown to be the criminals that they are. That's what the Ontario Police Department, but let me be clear, that's what the people of the state, that's what this entire system is. So they're repeating the exact same thing they did this morning, repeatedly flying over me by helicopter while I'm reminding you that the fake sun's over me in Chino at this time. And the entity's not being a distraction. And that's what these demons seek to do. Why would you engage in stalking in a helicopter, which there is no reconciling that, making that legitimate under any circumstances, because Satan is that desperate, which it's not even achieving that. You're not being any sort of distraction from what you think you're stopping me or thwarting me from doing, pointing out point by point. All right, all I'm doing is providing a tutorial. The evidence is there, first of all. The evidence is there for anyone to examine. What is impossible? I'm even using the time of day, the location, the maintenance of that zenith, that mutual zenith that's occurring in different cities. And also, I'm so thorough to point out, okay, this is the evidence that I provided to you. This is what's going on. Don't forget where I'm at here, and this is what's going on today. And then the demons that are the Ontario police are engaging in what is ongoing, flying over my head. Oh, let's try to shut her up. Let's try to terrorize. Let's get her distracted. Let's try throwing a bone to a puppy dog to get it to turn its head in an opposite direction, like I'm going to go running after. That's what these demons are trying to do. Okay, that is, again, that feudalistic, short-sighted criminal, okay, that is providing evidence that going to sit in federal prison. That is very damning evidence. You're understanding what criminal monitoring is, what group stalking is, demonic activity, and they're engaging in the crime, trying to distract from my revealing to you, which I've already documented, the crime that they're engaged in. Do you understand? They're already surrounded. So this is the entity doing the exact same thing it was doing this morning, as I captured it on video and on my podcast, while the Army, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Navy, they're in relevant position monitoring, engaging in terrorism in the same way that the city of Ontario was, in directed light. That's what they were doing today. Under those tents in relevant position, the JVS SoCal providing services to veterans, they were engaging in criminal monitoring with the Ontario police. That's exactly what they were. Like I said, there is no respect. You know how many minions, you know how many demon-possessed criminals are in the state of California, and they're wearing some uniform. Let me tell you who's wearing that uniform. Satan is wearing that uniform. No honor amongst those minions. Revealed in the way that they should be revealed. Criminals engaging in terrorism and present recruiting for the Army and for the Navy today. And I documented it, because that's exactly what happened. And this is the exact same criminal conduct that the Ontario police were engaging in with them. Okay, that's why the fake sun was over me. That's why they were walking around in directed light. They were monitoring while my panties are down. They're going to be prosecuted as the same exact entity in that ongoing deliberate environment. That's why it's not over Chino, because that's not the sun. It's over me as it remained at the Ontario Town Square as I exited today after 6 p.m. Where the Ontario police were stalking, following me to B&G Plaza, following me to the museum, and flying over, which I'm going to prosecute that minion who engaged in criminal defamation, by the way, because she is hostile to my documenting her stalking activity. She's a stalker, and she's surrounded with the evidence of the fact that she is a stalker, a demon-possessed one, and the entity is engaging in what is ongoing evidence, which I don't need, but you have what is clearly you are stalking. That's why you're stalking by helicopters, and you are stalking in that police vehicle where you know that I am headed, where you know that I am sleeping, with the totality of an entity engaging in that satanic conduct as one. It is currently 9:46 p.m. and that's the Ontario Police Department engaging in that conduct. Again, the entity that's scared of what I'm documenting. So this is where this is rooted in. It's rooted in fear, but this is an entity that's engaging in conduct which is to its own demise while you're scared because you're engaging in criminal conduct. So I would suggest, if you don't want to go to federal prison, you stop engaging in group stalking. This is already a done deal. They're too far in. They're not avoiding federal. You're going to sit in federal prison for a long time. That's what you're witnessing. But you're talking about you're so far in the hole, you're engaging in more criminal conduct because you're scared of what else I'm going to point out about your criminal conduct. That's how deep in the hole the Ontario Police Department is. And by the way, the Ontario Police Department, this is the Fontana Police Department, this is the Upland Police Department, this is the Pomona Police Department, the Montclair Police Department, the Los Angeles Police Department, the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, the San Bernardino Police Department. Let me be clear. I have documented the pattern of conduct, and this is an entity. Ontario Police, while I'm in Ontario, is continuing what is the state's ceaseless P.O.C. They are literally providing what is incriminating conduct, which I'm going to prosecute every single last one with. All right? It is currently 9:47 p.m., and that is Union Pacific, group stalking with the police, engaging in terrorism, a sex offender, the people of the state, a company to be prosecuted in that manner, because that's exactly what they're doing. That's what they're participating in. That's what they're facilitating. It's 9:47 p.m. This is P.O.C. Okay, here's the Ontario Police that's engaging in ongoing stalking, flying directly over my head by helicopter. concentrating presence around me where I am remaining at the museum. And this is in direct light. Focus on where I'm at. Remember, when I'm over there on the opposite side of the building, laying down, that's where they're flying over me. This is the Ontario Police that's engaged in open criminal conduct. These are the Ontario Police Department who I've identified also officers by name and badge number. They're going to federal prison. This is the exact same agency engaging in what is group stalking as an agency, which is what the group stalking system is. Corrupt agencies, law enforcement agencies that are engaging in this group stalking system, they rely on the people of the state. And as I have revealed this system, the Ontario Police Department is showing the impunity, the ongoing obtuse posture that they maintain toward your actual constitutional rights, contrary to when they're walking around in uniforms and engaging in what is wearing that badge. They're monitoring with demons. That's audible activity in direct light. All right, this is the people of the state that are monitoring engaged in terrorism with OPD. 8HTL 894. 8TPV 478. This is federal prison. 5RBY 573, I believe. And let me get this, 7VOH 213, coming down transit. These are demons pacing. They want to go to federal prison. They engage in ongoing obsessive stalking while they're being documented. 7FZA 655. That's that impunity. That is that psychopath obsessed stalker. Okay, even catching a federal case, going to federal prison, because that's exactly where they're going. 7KLK 850. Stalking with the Ontario Police on video, captured, flying in circles over me, and the people of the state. 7KLK 850 is a sex offender molesting my shadows on both sides of my person, and they are crossing path while they know that I am documenting. These are the demon possessed that are monitoring. They are hostile. That's why they engage in physical violence while they know exactly what I'm documenting. License 8KSS 275. They're going to federal prison. 8XRM 106. This is the Ontario Police. Demons crossing path over and over again. OPD monitoring with them. CD34E63 paper. This is ongoing surveillance on Euclid Avenue. License 9RJY149. 8HNV135. 007ZY, that's handicap. License 6ZMX521. License 5XOT095, Operation of Communication Device, 8PDW219. U71LXF, Nevada, 8MSZ028, 6MOL699. You got a demon at Grupo Guadalupano, where they hold the AA meetings for those demons who are engaging in criminal activity while they're sitting up, can't get over alcohol because they serve Satan, and they are serving Satan while they're stalking with light activity outside of Center Ice Arena as well. I'm documenting them as well. They're engaged in criminal monitoring with the Ontario Police. They're in relevant position, and those are demons. You got a demon at the opposite end of that street right there at Plum and Transit, aiming light while these demons are pacing around. And this is the entity that is willing to go to federal prison. That's how obsessed they are while they're engaging in this criminal conduct that's being documented. That is being established as an ongoing, very serious federal crime. While they are witnessing the creation of that, this is speaking to what is impunity, and it is also substantiating what is the creation of that legislation, which is going to surround the demon-possessed population that engage in placing American citizens under surveillance with the government, with corrupt law enforcement agencies. License plate 6SDX747, because that's what this is. They're catching federal prison time, and they are still, okay? 8PPE673, that's Satan. 98MV226, that's how thirsty Satan is, and you need to understand that. 8WDR893, but when they're behind those federal bars, because that's where they're going, 7YSG162, 2018, 2D3, you're talking about what is the next state? Because California is going to be an example. The next state, perhaps they won't be so thirsty. 62908Y2, but California, these demons out here, okay, because they're facing wrath for the first time. All right, when they hear me say federal prison, Satan is still engaging in what is, I'm still going to stalk in the bathroom. I'm still going to molest with directed light. I'm still going to stalk you corner to corner. I'm still going to stalk you by helicopter. They're going to go to federal prison. 8ULT115. Still engaging in what is stalking on behalf of the police. 8WVU729. And that thirst, you're going to quench that thirst with time in federal prison. With time, and again, necessarily, the psychopath that is revealed through the pattern of conduct, through that ongoing obsessive stalking. That's what this is. These are demons pacing around in engineered light. Okay, I have shadows on both sides of my person. The police are stalking by helicopters. Okay, and they remain engaged in surveillance on corners around here, waiting to sound their sirens, engaging in criminal summoning. This is ongoing massive surveillance that I am the subject of, while a bunch of inferior demons are watching me prosecute it for what it formerly engaged in secret. License 6 PSV 917, 8 SHJ 153. License 8 PSZ 419, and the people of the state shall go to federal prison because this is how the entity that acts directly relies upon them. They rely upon these demons. 4005083, 8XWV585. So you're going to break the legs of that system? Put them in federal prison. All right, put them in federal prison. 8 FRC 732, 5 RBY 896, 8 REX 148. These are demons that are molesting with light, flying over me by commercial airline planes, BN36S79. It's the same entity, the people of the state. Demons with access to commercial airline planes. These demons patrolling around me in vehicles. 7VNC707 acting in concert with the demons with access to helicopters and police vehicles. BN09V74 paper, operation of their communication device. Ongoing obsessive stalking. License plate 1SFA283. It is currently 10:18 p.m. Want to make sure I hold on 1 second. It is currently, I want to make sure the time is correct. License plate, let me get these demons real quick. Super thirsty, LUVROCK, I believe, or LUVBO, NMAG, or you can scratch, I can't see the one. 8XKU537, 8ZZM110. All right, I want to make sure I get those demons. They are also, I want to be clear, there are multiple methods. You're talking about what is the revealing of a state system of surveillance in the United States, okay? My documentation is revealing the existence of the system, establishing precedent. Not only that, you are understanding, which I'm sure I'm not stating anything that would be foreign, but let me just put it out there. Surveillance cameras everywhere, traffic cameras everywhere, are supplemental means of documentation. And that is speaking to reaching even farther with regard to specifically identifying. But in addition to that, like I said, this is a massive criminal operation, and it's going to be a massive prosecution. And justice requires that. Numerosity is no basis to deny an American citizen who has a right to not be subject to this satanic, demented, psychopath level criminal activity by a bunch of corrupt officials, all right, who are also revealing that corruption. You are seeing their true colors. While they are surrounded by evidence and you see what they do, they engage in more criminal activity, all right? And that is bearing upon the people of the state. That's bearing upon what is the genuine attitude of these corrupt officials who are relying upon, again, by the way, the fact that they're wearing uniforms and you accord them respect and honor, and they're not worthy of it. They're not worthy of it. And I'm referencing again back to what I've already stated, the unfounded grounds where law enforcement and the courts in this country are affording what are grounds of some benefit of the doubt sort of analysis, where you have to provide some extraordinary level of evidence in order to prosecute for what are allegations which would otherwise satisfy any other standard for a crime or for some matter of impropriety nonetheless. And I'm just speaking generally speaking. I'm not going to go into the details of that, but what I'm stating is with the Ontario Police Department, this is not an anomaly. This is what you need to understand. I have shown what is a pattern of conduct as I go from city to city to city. It's not an anomaly as showing that. This is the pattern of conduct. This is a matter of public corruption. It is long existing. I am revealing it now. This is the genuine conduct, the true character of what is a condition that you are ignorant about, demon possession. All right, minions in positions that they are literally disqualified to be in. Not just based on because you're a demon, because you serve Satan, and you are you have a predisposition to corruption and crime, serving Satan. I just want to be clear on that. But not only that, because of your criminal conduct, Not just your condition, your criminal activity. It is a crime to engage in stalking, and stalking in the unprecedented manner of using helicopters to do so. You're using the resources of police agencies, using police vehicles. You're using the sirens that you would ordinarily, you're supposed to be engaging in what is service, serving the aid. You're talking about when you think about the use of sirens, it's supposed to be providing aid to somebody. It's like an emergency and you're in service. So they're engaging in criminal conduct. I mean, Satan has totally twisted the entire system as it exists, as you are imagining it in your mind. All right, because we're told about the heroes that are the fire department, the firemen, the heroes that are the police. Okay. No, that's not what's going on. In the Ontario Police Department is not an anomaly. It's not an anomaly. It's not just some of the Ontario Police Department. It's the entire police department. I have been thorough enough to show you what is a very precise formula. Not only am I showing you the criminal conduct, it's occurring within a system. And guess what? The core to this public corruption is Satan. It's demon possession, which you also need to know about. You also need to know about that. And this is occurring everywhere that I go. So I did happen to go to LA. And I did happen to go to multiple other cities where police officers, sheriffs, were following me around. And I've been documenting it for years because it's a pattern. All right? So you're talking about a pattern of being everywhere that I'm at. Everywhere. Even while they're looking in the opposite direction, talking to somebody else. Oh, but you're always there. And the more that I documented, the more that Satan knew that I was documenting, the more they engaged in that stalking activity. And guess what? It's gotten to the point to where they're following hour by helicopter. This is the same exact system that I was documenting in 2018, where I'm in Orange County. Okay, I'm thinking about when I'm staying in hotels, because I documented this. I was writing down license plates of law enforcement. They were following me around, and this is exactly what I was documenting. The more I documented, the more that it's like using one of those brushes when you're engaging in archaeology and you're brushing the dust off and you're revealing what is, has long been buried underneath, and you're revealing more of the surface. This is what I've been doing. This is what I was doing. This is what I was doing. I was documenting. They were following me around. They were doing it in a passive aggressive manner. Oh, but you are following. Okay, the fact that you are doing so in a way that's supposed to appear as though you're doing something else, that does not negate the fact that there's a pattern that law enforcement, regardless of what specific agency or what city, they are maintaining presence around me everywhere that I'm going. And that's exactly what I documented, because that's exactly what they were doing. And guess what the Ontario Police Department is doing? What I have been documenting for years, 2018. Okay, so like I said, this is not an anomaly. Reference my November 2018 log of police encounters. I've been documenting this for a long time because this is what law enforcement is doing in this state. It's not limited to Southern California. In addition to that, as my documentation has advanced and matured, I have hundreds of video documentation of not just the Ontario Police Department stalking in the most unheard of manners, the entity getting more and more aggressive, in other words, the more that I documented. Because you're trying to stop me from documenting and exposing your system, which you're not. You are literally pulling down your own pants now and exposing yourself. Because I've already shown the P.O.C. I've shown this is what the entity does. I've created policy whereby you are specifically contemplating this criminal system, which is demonic at its core. But you're talking about now, what's the Ontario Police Department doing? Oh, they're literally adding they're crossing my T's for me, they're dotting my I's. Not that I need it. I'm very, very precise with my syntax and writing, but I'm giving you an illustration. There is no mistake. There is no anomaly with what is egregious criminal conduct by law enforcement agencies in this country, and it is unfounded the way that they are treated in the courts, as though there is some reason, because there is not, to treat them different than any other defendant that is faced with any sort of allegations which you are necessarily establishing beyond a reasonable doubt. They are not afforded under the law. I find no basis to do so in the criminal conduct by the Ontario Police Department, which again is not an anomaly. This is a pattern. The pattern of conduct that I have revealed, speaking to public corruption in the state, is speaking to what is going on in the rest of the country. That's what you need to understand. And the attitude, as I've given this lecture already, the attitude in the courts, let me be clear, the courts are the facilitating venue. That's why that's occurring. Let me remind you, I've also documented the ongoing kidnapping, the ongoing facilitation, group stalking and monitoring in the court system. That's why you have that passive treatment of law enforcement who are entirely corrupt. They are enabled to do so because the court system is designed to in no way restrict what is an ongoing criminal cooperation. That's why you have that. And I'm letting you know, first of all, those are minions in the courts. That is a deliberate system in operation. It's corruption. All right, it's corruption under the guise of, oh, it's bad for society. It sends a negative message to law enforcement who are, there's more good than there are bad, all of these vagaries that they want to use. It's a bunch of malarkey, okay? The criminal conduct by police, as I am showing you what is the pattern of conduct, it's not just these documenting the personalities that are these demons here in California. It is the environment. Understand the pattern of conduct. The pattern of conduct has implications for the rest of the country. They're under a fake sun. That implicates what's going on in every other state when you are looking at a sun in the sky over you. This is a demonic behavioral pattern. This is demonic activity. This is born of Satan. This system, this issue of corruption is not just in California. It is identified through that environment, which is a scientific impossibility. That is what I have revealed to you. It is directly relevant to what the Ontario Police Department are doing, the condition that they are subject to. They're a bunch of demons engaging in criminal conduct and clearly just just rampant criminal activity. The more that I've literally shined a light on them. And so there's no turning back. And so you're talking about what is just what they're doing, their stalking conduct is just out of what you're talking about. Somebody that just gave up, and you have I'm laughing because it's so pathetic. You literally have no intention, and you also must have already conceded that you're not even going to try to make some appearance as not being corrupt, which you can't. How are you going to argue against what is the criminal they have kidnapped me, they've stolen my property, they've engaged in false allegations, repeated acts of methods of harassment and facilitating this ongoing stalking conduct, which is what is criminal summoning with the people. They're engaging in what is day and night stalking, flying over me by helicopter over my car, and then you stole my car. This is what they were doing before they engaged in fictitious authority under the law, again, harassing me, and you stole my car and everything that I own. So again, you're talking about common sense? No, you don't have a legitimate leg. Anybody with common sense, looking at just 10 videos, let alone I have hundreds of videos, but just 10 videos. Yeah, there's something fishy there. It's more than fishy, but I'm just being generous. The Ontario Police Department has no intention of maintaining any sort of appearance of not being some disgusting, despicable, entirely corrupt and bankrupt agency. They must not. Their criminal conduct that I'm capturing while they're just zigzagging over my head by helicopter day and night is demonstrating that. All right, I'm going to use it to prosecute them. Okay, because you don't just lose to me, you're also going to pay the consequences, and I'm going to pick the consequences. And again, this is not just willy-nilly. I'm speaking to I'm making sure that justice is done, because while you would prosecute any other stalker, traditional stalking, you would be looking at this person's mind state. I mean, look at they're stalking her. Okay, let's give a hypothetical. They're stalking, he is stalking, or he or she is stalking, she's stalking him, or he's stalking her, traditional stalking scenario. All right, you're outside of her home. All right, you're breaking into her car. All right, you're calling the police on her for no reason, making up lies. You are stalking her, following her into the bathroom. You're walking all around the bathroom like a weirdo. Why are you making noises and aiming light inside of the bathroom when she's in the bath? Why are you doing this? Is conduct that would directly point to the mind state, which you are naturally. Okay, it is mandatory. The mind state will immediately be brought into question. This is not changing because it's the entity. Oh, no. I am here to make sure justice is done. Okay, numerosity shall in no way be any basis to avoid justice for the American citizen who has a constitutional right to not be subject to this criminal conduct by a demon-possessed entity. And so while you want to engage in psychotic conduct, while you want to provide me ongoing evidence of the fact that you're a demon-possessed group stalker, ongoing obsession, absolute disregard of the constitutional human rights of another, while you are also fully aware of the fact that you are being documented, that I'm going to use with regard to what is your mind state, which is very, very, you're demonstrating it is very, very unstable. And this is not just the Ontario Police Department. This is the conduct of an entity. This is the conduct of an entity. These demons are molesting me with directed light. That's something that's absolutely impossible to ever occur. That's immediately drawing into what is your mental state. And you will be, that is directly relevant in that prosecution. Okay? And this is going to be default with regard to what is a group stalker. Group stalkers are demon possessed. The group stalkers are in a specific environment. And all of this is a matter of objective evidence, readily identifiable, irreducible, insurmountable, and no minion can reconcile it. How can, no scientific, you cannot reconcile it. Please bring in some scientists to reconcile it, because you can't. The fake sun remained over me at the Ontario Town Square where I stood today, and the fake sun while the demon-possessed Ontario Police Department stalking in the path with light activity. The same property, 6 p.m. Okay? Impossible light activity on the walls inside, on the base level inside of a parking garage. That is the evidence of every single last one of them. They're demons. All right? That is bringing direct evidence, in other words, of what is their condition, which Satan seeks to conceal, hide from you. Oh, it's not hidden anymore. And not only that, I'm going to prosecute. I want to make sure that justice is done. For too long, this is a criminal system. You have people across this country who are sitting kidnapped inside of mental wards, and there's nothing wrong with them. They're not crazy at all. Okay? And I am advocating, I don't take kindly to threats, and I will be as protective of any target individual whom I would be representing in court. You're not going to threaten my client either. Okay? And I will put you where you belong, because I see exactly who you are and what you think you're doing. You're not going to get away with it. All right? So that's my agenda, and that's what I'm doing. You're talking about what is an entity that is engaging in conduct of a psychopath, an entity that is entirely corrupt, as they are demonstrating it. Okay? And then you're talking about what I'm speaking to, which is policy that needs to change, the attitude that needs to change. And that's going to be, it starts with you recognizing where this corruption is also occurring. And it's in the courts, which I've also documented. Everything, I've already documented it. It's not an anomaly at the Rancho Cucamonga Superior Court. It's not an anomaly at the San Bernardino Superior Court. I have documented what is the state's pattern of conduct. The state of California. And based on the pattern of conduct, which is occurring, you are identifying it in a specific environment. Guess what? That specific environment is speaking to what's going on in the rest of the country. Why? Because there's only one sun. So while it's remaining over my head, the question is, what the hell is over you where you are? Because it's not the natural environment. It's not. You need to wake up and open your eyes. Wake up. These are the times that we are in. And this criminal conduct that the Ontario Police Department is engaging in, it is they shall be an example on the world stage. But this is revealing what is the true, genuine character, the true attitude toward the constitutional rights, those who are wearing uniforms, those who are wearing badges. And they're relying upon, you are, according to them, honor that they are not due. They are as disgusting as these minions who I'm documenting, excuse me. And this is upon when? This is upon my revealing their identity to you. I have ripped off the mask. Okay, they don't have a mask. So now you see Satan for who it really is. That's what the Ontario Police Department is revealing, while they're stalking me day and night by helicopter and by demon-possessed police officers to their own demise, because every single last one of them that I'm itemized, they're going to sit in federal prison for that. Okay, it's to its own demise, but you need to recognize the personality of Satan. This is not an anomaly. I cannot stress it enough. This is not an anomaly. This is corruption that is underneath the surface, and this is across the country. And there are no grounds to treat law enforcement officers in these courts in this country as though they are above the law or above any sort of scenario whereby they're engaging in improprieties or that there's more than, no, none of those vagaries apply. No, not at all. Not at all. Okay, it's a new landscape, and it is very likely that you are subject to what is criminal conduct by corrupt agencies, and you don't have to go around assuming it. You have what is the ability to specifically witness and gather the evidence of that. It's a matter of what is objective evidence. All right, it is currently 10:35 p.m. and I'll digress there. This is P.O.C.